Aloha and welcome to the Stand-Up Paddle World Series Finals. Day number 2, short course sprint racing. I'm Rocky Cannon. This is Lito Archangel. He'll be helping me with some commentary today. Lito, gnarly conditions out there right now, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty rough out there right now with the wind and the swell coming in.
So we are joining you from Turtle Bay Resort, live here on the North Shore. We had the long distance paddling yesterday from Turtle Bay to Haleiwa, and it was a grueling race. All kinds of conditions they had to face. There were cross chops. It was downwind. There were points in the valleys where, especially at Waimea, where the wind is blowing offshore from the valley, so it kind of hits you sideways, and you got to paddle all right side. And then you had to come through the waves at point, and then getting into the flat water, offshore winds. The last leg was a grueling, grueling stretch. And it was hot, too, out there.
Oh, yeah. Humidity levels were definitely up there, too.
And we're going to show you some highlights of that course from yesterday as they paddled from Turtle Bay to Haleiwa. Check it out right now.
I'm feeling okay. It was really, physically I feel great, but the conditions are so brutal out there. The wind was way more offshore than normally, but there was some good bumps, so you could kind of get some bumps and then really thread the needle and angle it to where you needed to go, but you know, it was not an easy run by any means.
How do I feel? Yeah, I'm feeling good, you know, after that long race from Turtle Bay to here. Yeah. But, you know, overall feeling really good. Conditions are exactly what I expected it to be. You know, there's some bomb sets at Puena that, you know, that I knew that was going to happen. And congrats to all the boys, and they were sick.
Yeah, look, paddling out. You know, I was really nervous, especially when they just turned around and said, oh, we're going to go straight out. I was just going, oh my God, this is the biggest I've ever been out in. And this is on a 12'6" race board. And I just looked at Paul and just looked at Jacko, and he just goes, follow me. And I just went, yes. And I was just like, just follow him the whole way out. It was perfect. I couldn't have picked a better line. I got out the back and led the whole way right up until the last corner. I knew turning the corner it would be upwind, and I just don't do upwind. I hate upwind. So yeah, Fiona obviously took over, and big congratulations to her. She put in the big effort up here in the upwind section and took it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. The start was a little hectic, but everybody pretty much made it out pretty safely, so that was really great. And yeah, just putting it down, getting in the rhythm of things, figuring out how to, like, where to stay. Too far outside, too close, so it was really good. It was a really fun race, and I'm really happy I'm here.
Here she is. You guys, give it up. Yeah! For first place in the women's, Fiona Wild. So we are going to sign off for the moment right now. We're going to be taking you guys to Turtle Bay tomorrow for the short course sprint racing. It's going to be super exciting. Tomorrow, we'll be back up full steam on all fronts. For Dave Bainey, I'm Rocky Cannon, the Waterman League and Turtle Bay. Aloha, have a good afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoyed that segment, those highlights of yesterday, the Stand-Up Paddle World Series long distance race finals. And today we got the short course sprint racing. We had the course getting set up for the last little while. The waves are definitely making it difficult to set up the course. You know, the ocean is fierce. It is very alive today and this whole week. But, you know, these competitors, you saw them in the highlights.
Testing 1, 2,
stuff,
1, 2.
They can handle almost anything.
Yeah, definitely. I think the conditions today is definitely going to bring out and reveal
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2.
specific wave knowledge capabilities of each individual.
Test 1, 2, 1,
It's not
2.
just about pure strength and speed. It's about knowing
Okay, we
the
have
ocean,
levels. We have levels.
knowing when to go, your timing, your rhythm with the ocean, and this break here at Turtle Bay, it's really tricky. The reef is uneven, so there's peaks popping up everywhere, and the wind also a factor.
Yeah, the wind has been very consistent since early this morning, and I've noticed that the direction and the angle of the swell is changed from time to time, and there would be some freak sets that would come up as well. So these competitors need to really be aware and have their eagle eyes on.
My boy for Huntington, bro.
Take notice and also utilize these waves and help the waves to get them into the lead as well.
Yeah, so we just had Robbie Nash and a couple of other crew members, Buzzy Kerbox, paddle out our final buoy to set it. So those old school watermans, they still get them now.
That was definitely a capital challenge in my book. That was better them than us, wouldn't you say, Rocky?
And you might have heard the cheering. That's what the cheering was for. For them out in the ocean. But we also have on the beach with us Kainoa McGee, and he's standing by with Rachel Brunch for a preheat interview.
Hey, how's it? Right on. Thank you, Rocky. You got Kainoa McGee here at the 2014 Stand-Up Paddle World Series Sprint Series Day 2 here at Turtle Bay. We're fortunate enough to catch up with one of our female competitors. We have Rachel Brunch here. So, Rachel, I think a lot of our viewers can see from what they saw yesterday that it was much bigger yesterday, and the waves have gotten smaller today, so it's better for you guys sprints. What is your strategy, or what do you want to go out there to win this bad boy?
Yeah, of course, everyone wants to win. My only goal is just make it out of the heat and have a chance to make it to the finals. Every heat.
Okay, so what do you think you're going to have to do to make it out of these heats as you look outside and you're looking at the buoys, where the buoys are placed? What is going to be your strategy? Because there's going to be a bunch of you in the water at the same time. What do you think you're going to have to do? You don't have to divulge any crazy secrets, but just a standard strategy for people watching out there. Like, what would you want to do?
Well, you got to get lucky first, and try and get the channel, and hopefully you get a good wave, but not one that's too big or breaking in the wrong spot, and just stay on it all the way to the buoy.
Yep, you heard it from Rachel. Get on the wave, don't pearl, and beat everybody else to the finish line. That's the strategy. All right, Rocky, back to you, brother. Aloha.
All right, Kainoa, mahalo, and best of luck to Rachel and all the wahine and the boys that'll be paddling out there today, because it is going to be a challenge. Like we said yesterday, going into today, it's going to be a lot of kind of carnage, some great successes, some gnarly wipeouts, and some epic rides back in to the finish line. And right now we're going to show you a bit of the course description here at Turtle Bay for this short course sprint racing series of the Stand-Up Paddle World Series Finals.
Situated on the famous north shore of Oahu sits the Turtle Bay Resort. Surrounded by miles of private coastline, this resort features something for everyone, but especially the water athletes of the world. It is here that the Waterman League has founded its headquarters and birthed the Stand-Up World Series, running its first event ever in 2011. Boasting 2 days of competition, Day 1, the challenging open ocean long distance race, and Day 2, the slalom-styled sprint racing through the ocean surf. Turtle Bay Resort and the aptly named Turtle Bay is a perfect venue for stand-up paddle sprint race, with spectators lining the ocean cliff right at the foot of the hotel, where at the Hang Ten Bar, competitors can enjoy refreshments and cool down in between heats. No one place has ever boasted a better vantage point for surf racing. With crowds and supporters lining from the launch zone all along the entire length of the course to the top of the final turn marker, this races everyone on the edge of their seats. Once their gear is ready and they have made their way to the start line, racers sit down on their boards awaiting the starter's orders. And then they're off, and within a few paddle strokes, hit the first line of whitewash rolling over the reef. The course is set up in a large triangle shape, consisting of 2 buoy turns. An extra turn and lap is added to the course for the men's and women's finals. But in the first few rounds, riders only have 1 lap to either make it into the top 3 and advance to the following round, or miss the cut and go into the repo heats, providing all racers with 1 last chance to get into the 3rd round. At round 3, it's an all-out battle. For those not making it, they will be eliminated from the competition. The racers get whittled down to the final 6, who will compete for the top spot of the day. With more close finishes and all-out carnage than any other race to date, the Turtle Bay final sprint race is sure to be a crowd pleaser, both for the guests at the resort as well as our online viewers.
Okay.
All right, we are back live action on watermanleague.com, live here at Turtle Bay Resort. And you saw a little bit of the course description, the battle through the rounds, and how many times these guys and girls got a paddle out here, Lito. It's going to be a gnarly, rough day for them.
It's going to be about water knowledge and the ability to adjust. So they're going to definitely have to learn to work with the water and utilize the currents and work with the elements to be able to get that edge off of everyone else, definitely.
Well, and turning around the buoys, navigating the ocean with the waves coming in and out, and they're riding 12-6 race boards. That is something that is not normally done, and it's not done by your average stand-up paddleboarder. These are the elite stand-up paddle athletes in the world, and they have the toughest conditions to deal with.
Definitely, I'd have to agree with you on that, especially if they have 12-6 boards. It's become more of a vessel rather than a recreational surfing vehicle. So they have to keep all that in mind while they're utilizing the elements to get where they want to get and get that edge and get into the lead. So they're focusing on all these little tiny swells, and all those people who know, all those professionals that are out there racing, they're going from a big swell, looking for that next little swell, to get to the next little swell, to get to that big swell, to maintain that lead, maintain that edge, and to overall take this event.
Well said, and we do have Zane Schweitzer standing by on the beach with Kainoa McGee.
Mahalo again, Kainoa McGee here with one of our Zane.
Sorry, we lost that transmission from Kainoa McGee and Zane Schweitzer. And between those two guys, I don't know who's going to be able to get an word in edgewise, but
testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Oh, here they are.
No, it's good.
On time, and everything worked. What? What in what world does that happen?
What kind of world is that?
all right, we're going to pick it back up with Zane Schweitzer and Kainoa McGee standing by at the shoreline here at Turtle Bay Resort.
All right, mahalos, Rocky. So, like I was saying earlier, we had some technical difficulties in the race. And as I walked my way down here to the start line, I seen one competitor better than anybody else. Tell them what you did in between the break.
Oh, you know, sometimes I just got to escape from everybody and find my little zen moment. And I was just in the bushes, kind of just head down in the grass, just kind of finding a little time of peace before the race. And yeah, so I'm excited to get going, but before the race I like to mellow out and kind of just get my body as mellow, burn as least energy as I can up until the time where I got to get pumped up and ready to race.
Awesome. So you heard it from Zane Schweitzer. He actually was able to take a nap. I have the hardest time on competition days doing that. So now up, ready to rock and roll. What is your strategy, you think, here, or just the strategy in general for everybody to win this race? And of course, I don't want you to give away your secrets, but tell us, in general, what do you think everybody's going to be doing?
You know it well as any of us kind of know out there. It's tough conditions for stand-up paddle race, and for a course race going in and out of the surf at a wave like this, it's difficult to control these boards and punch in and out through the surf. So I think the big thing is going to be following the right currents, following in the right rips, and being able to stay on top of your board and make it out through the waves.
You're all about the timing. Back to you.
Right on. Thanks, Kainoa. And good luck, Zane. It's Rocky Cannon up here with Lito Archangel, giving you the play-by-play from our live seaside studio right here, bro.
I believe the jet ski has arrived and everything is getting into place.
Yeah, we got Hank Photo out there doing some water shots, water safety, and having some fun on the jet ski. And we're going to have the first men's heat to check in and get in the water at the starting line. So we're looking at the starting line right off the bluff here. Turtle Bay is a perfect venue for this kind of race action because we have a natural arena right here where we can look down on the entire short course sprint area, cheer on the competitors, see all the action live and close up, and grab a Pacifico when you get thirsty.
Oh, awesome. This place is priceless. You can sit comfortably. I think there's a lot of shade hunters here today.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's everyone really looks olo and comfortable here at beautiful Turtle Bay at Kuilima Point. It's an honor to be here and to be able to sit next to you and help commentate for this wonderful event, the Stand Up Paddle World Championships. Can't wait to get it started.
And you're looking at the screen right there on watermanleague.com, and just in the distance above the foliage is where Liko and I are situated, looking over the bluff right into the start and finish line area. And, of course, we have buoys that are set out beyond the waves where the athletes will have to paddle around those buoys and back in through the surf. So it's in and out of the surf racing today. A lot of exciting action. We've got Fiona Wild. She was the wild card winner, no pun intended, of yesterday's long-distance race. She's come out of nowhere from Oregon to make a great showing at Huntington Beach. Some of our spectators cruising in the shade, like you were saying, and they're
owning the shade right now.
Oh yeah, and there we are in our beautiful booth area, and you see through our transparent sponsor board behind us all of the people milling around, and then the surf, of course, out beyond the trees here. But we have a great view, bird's eye view of the start and finish line. Heat number 1 needs to check in and get ready to start. We'll be starting with them momentarily.
So Rocky, name some of the things that you would think that specific details that of wave knowledge and element and current knowledge that these competitors might have to face here while they're during this competition.
Well, they're starting. It looks like the starting point is going to be between a buoy and the rocks right here. And one thing about this break, Lito, is that right along the cliff here, there seems to be a little out current that helps you get out towards the surf. So that inside position to start along the cliff might be a good strategy for those if they have a choice of where they can start. But of course, as you get further out, past the little broccoli tree right here, we call it, there is kind of a 45-degree angle that you want to take to get around some of these waves. Now with a 12.6 stand-up paddle racing board, and a lot of waves coming in, not sure if you're going to be able to take the textbook paddle out route that we usually take here when we're surfing. So heading straight out beyond the waves, it's going to be a lot of timing, a lot of luck is going to be involved too. It's just going to be the person who's in the right place at the right time versus the guy who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Definitely. And you just got to hope that you pulling your cards right.
Definitely, I agree with you. I noticed that there are a lot of deep, like you had said before, there are a lot of deep and shallow channels here.
Yep.
And I noticed that, like you said, the current, it helps you out when you're going out, but when you're coming back in, you have to be fully aware of the contrasting current. Now you have to kind of figure out a way how to beat that current, because if you get stuck in that cross current, it's going to allow the competitor behind you.
It will slow
to
you
catch
down.
up,
Yeah.
especially if that guy is aware of it and you might forget about it.
And they do also have to come in between the buoy and the cliff. So if you're catching a wave and you're starting to go wide, you will have to turn your board and navigate back towards the cliff, which could put you off course a little bit. So sticking close to the edge here, I think, is going to be a good strategy going in and out. And once you're out beyond, you know, we got kind of a side offshore wind out there. So depending on what shoulder you're turning on the buoy, you're going to have pretty amazing board control, because the nose of the board, when you step on the tail to turn, is going to be more susceptible to getting blown whichever the way the wind's blowing out there.
Oh, yes, definitely, especially with a 12-foot-plus stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah.
You want to walk all the way back. That's 12 feet, and your nose is in the air. And then you have the factors of wind and cross-chop hitting you. And then once you're going sideways and the wave is hitting you from the side, you're prone to getting tipped over.
Yeah.
And that is a very crucial flaw. You don't want that to happen, even if you do have the lead, because that'll give all the guys behind you incentive.
And, you know, this kind of race day, we saw some guys warming up, but they were kind of having fun out there. We know that they are capable of getting out through the waves. We've seen them do that yesterday. This is the same starting point for the long-distance race. But coming back in and navigating around the buoys, like we just said, is going to be a whole nother ball game. And
you want to walk. Well, the objective's a little bit different from yesterday.
Correct.
Wouldn't you say?
Yes, correct. And it's just going to be like the first heat is going to be the guinea pigs. That's what I was trying to get to, is that first heat is going to be very experimental. And we saw the guys practicing earlier, but it wasn't a heat situation. So they were just going out, cruising, catching waves, riding them in. Even we saw Riggs Napoleon busting some cutbacks.
And he was using the 12-foot-plus board, which to me is a great idea to get starting warming up.
Yeah, riding his race board out there, catching some waves, getting a feel for it. But, of course, during the race, maneuvers are not going to matter. And we're going to see this first heat be the guinea pig, experimental heat, going in and out through the surf. And I'm kind of really excited about.
What do you think is an ideal way to warm up for an event such as this one that is about to start right now?
You know, it's one of those things where a lot of people say you can do all these cross-training things for a certain sport. But in surfing, the best way to train for surfing is to surf. Today, the best way to train for this race and this course is to get out there this morning and do the course, practice it. It's almost like you can't do push-ups to be, you know, an MMA fighter, or you can't do, you know, running to be a surfer. You got to do the activity. And I think the best way is to get out there today and see what it's really doing, because nothing can prepare you. The ocean changes so much, and it's every situation is so unique that you got to prep on that day and give it a run.
Yeah, so basically you're saying the mental warm-up is more important. It's just as important, if not more, than the physical warm-up.
That's super true. That is very true. And being able to be determined and committed out here, because if you fall one time and you get down on yourself, then you're gonna the whole race is gonna be shot.
Yeah,
you got to be able to get back up, because you never know what's gonna happen to the other guy. We need heat number 1 to check in. Heat number 1, check in and get on the water. Heat number 1, please get out to the starting line. Heat number 1, report to the starting line immediately. There's a shot down near the starting line. Cody Kerbox, Dylan Frick.
And I just found out that Cody Kerbox is a cousin of mine.
That is quite a wild story.
I had spoke with his dad, Buzzy.
Yep.
I met him at the very first year that Waterman League had been established, and they had finalized it at Honolulu, my home break on the Big Island in Hilo.
Yep.
And I was asked to commentate, and I got to meet all the judges, Buzzy. And so I saw Buzzy this morning, and I said, "Hey, how's it going? You remember me?" And I'd met his family. And his son and his ex-wife, and they had asked, "Oh, I have family on the Big Island."
That's Cody's mom.
Cody's mom, yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, I know those people. They're my cousins." And she's like, "No, those are my cousins." I'm like, "Well, we must be cousins."
That is classic.
So, you know, only on a small world, Big Island. You know what I mean?
Bruh, that's classic Hawaiian style right
so
there.
I'd like to wish a big good luck to my newfound cousin, Cody Kerbox. Good luck, Cody.
And South Africa's Dylan Frick standing by Cody. They are getting ready to race in these extreme conditions. And we don't... we're not downplaying it when we call it extreme conditions today.
Definitely.
It's the definition of extreme. We have surf in the 4 to 6 foot range still yet. A strong northwest swell, still pulsing. And this swell's lasted longer than usual first season swells. They're usually up and down in a couple days. This one has been pumping strong since Thursday and still giving us overhead surf into Sunday. So could be an indicator of the winter season to come, which is a good sign.
Yes, definitely.
Connor Baxter, Eric Terrian. Check in, get to the starting line. Connor Baxter, Eric Terrian. So Connor Baxter, Eric Terrian, Noah Janela, Riggs Napoleon, and Kael Abbey all in heat number 1. There you see Connor. He's got the number 1 jersey. He's already won the Stand-Up Paddle World Series Championship. He clinched it at Huntington Beach.
Wow.
So he is a racing machine, to say the least. And he's just kind of going out there for kicks and giggles out there today.
Oh, I definitely noticed him 4 years ago at Honolulu. And I was fortunate to be able to witness the new stand-up paddle movie they had premiered last night.
Oh, yep.
Showing them racing each other and just pushing it to the limits, and how they would acknowledge each other as not just competitive rivals, but as soon as they're back on the beach, they're good brothers again.
Yeah, it's definitely that type of camaraderie that exists on the Stand-Up Paddle World Tour and the World Series. They've traveled to Europe. They've been to Japan. All across the U.S., and the finals now here in Hawaii, and it was Connor Baxter, like I said earlier, cleaning up and taking the championship at Huntington Beach. So today is just for fun for him, but there is a strong battle for second place right now. Kai Lenny winning yesterday, the long-distance race, really put himself in good position to be the number 2, but there's a long list of athletes just behind him that will be chasing him for that spot.
Yeah, definitely. I think... it's anybody's call. Even for first place, you never know. We'll have to see. It might be somebody's day today. And I definitely look forward to seeing that competitive spirit as soon as the race begins. They're just about ready to get it going and lining up at the first buoy over here.
Yeah, you see on your screen at watermanleague.com. And for those of you joining us here at the poolside and oceanside, the best of both worlds here at the point at Turtle Bay. We got the pool right there, the ocean right here. And if you're watching here live, but you can't stay with us on the beach, you can always find a computer and watch us on watermanleague.com. You see Kael Abbey getting ready right next to Eric Terrian in your frame right now. And they'll be lining up at the start. And that premiere last night, the SUP movie at Surfer the Bar here at Turtle Bay. Lito was able to jam some music on the Surfer Bar stage. Is it your first time jamming on that stage?
Yes, it is, and it was an honor and a privilege to perform over there. Me growing up on the Big Island, we're living our own world over there on the Big Island. So when I get an opportunity to come up to the North Shore and perform for all our surfer heroes and legends, it's a definite privilege and an honor for me, and I enjoyed it very much. And I plan to do it again tonight at the Luau.
All right.
So those of you who are attending the Luau, come on down, and I'll play some Hawaiian music and some contemporary music, and I think we're going to have some hula dancers as well.
Ooh.
And hopefully maybe Rocky will come up and dance some hula for us. I don't know.
I will be in attendance, but hula, I will not be participating. And here we go. That is the start. And we've got the view from the cliff now. And we're focused in on Connor Baxter. And there he is with Noah Janela right beside. just a little bit behind. And here comes the first test, Lito. When they hit those waves, this is when it's going to get very interesting.
I agree. It's about that wave knowledge and where to position the nose of your board when that angle comes, so that just like how Connor did right there.
Wow.
Wonderful.
How did he not break his back on that one right there?
That's definitely wave knowledge and athleticism.
That was pure athleticism, the way he was able to stay on his board. His back twisted all the way around, stuck his paddle in for a little bit of a kickstand right there, and then spun his back all the way around. I thought for sure he was going down.
If that was me, I would have gone down for sure.
So they did take the traditional paddle out route that we talked about earlier, hugging the cliff and then taking that 45-degree angle at the small tree right here. So textbook paddle out right there for the boys, with Connor leading the way. Number 46 right there, I believe, is Noah Janela.
And right now they're in the channel, correct?
Yeah, now they're out in the channel. I believe they go around the buoy to the left and then around the buoy that's straight off the point, and then they will be heading straight back in. So it'll be probably about 7 or 8 minutes, I believe, per heat. It takes them to do that run out and around the three buoys.
1 lap?
And it is a 1 lap round number 1. We'll see if we get into running double laps, but I think with our timing, schedule-wise, and what we've allotted for, probably a 1 lap through would be the format, possibly. Number 2, heat number 2, please check in. Jake Jensen, Casper Steinfath, Dylan Frick, Peter Dories, and Robert Teriitehao. Please check in. And look at these waves coming in, Lito. I was always wanting to call you Liko, bro. Sorry.
That's all right. That's, either way is polole. Either way is correct. But they do have some sets coming in, and I can tell you right now, Rocky, that definitely heats 2, 3, and 4 are watching heat 1 very carefully.
Yes.
Taking serious notes on what heat 1 has to endure and go through, so that they may not have to make those same trials as heat 1. So
yep, and Connor Baxter is the first to round the buoy. And now when they head this way, they're going directly against the wind. So you can see the jerseys really blowing hard. You can see the strokes as they are kind of getting blown back in.
Connor actually took a wide turn.
And yep, and they turned the final buoy. They're heading back in.
And see how Connor's catching the small crest of the wave and just trying to utilize as much momentum as he can to get into that bowl section so he can catch a larger wave and just try to beat the crowd here.
Somebody's up and riding on a big one on the outside.
And here we have a set right here coming down.
And that is Riggs Napoleon. Riggs got second place yesterday in the long distance race, one of his best results of his career. So young Riggs getting a really long ride right here.
And the difficulty to make those drops on a 12-foot plus board, the ability to be able to shuffle back on the tail of your board and not let your rail dig, that was very textbook, classic drop that he took to be able to take that lead.
Yep, and it looks like he is shooting back to the inside of the buoy. And it is Riggs Napoleon. Give it up for brother Riggs, taking heat number 1.
And like you said, this is where the luck came into play, right, Rocky? He was the first one to be able to snag that wave and take Connor off on that heat.
More importantly, here we go. We got a wipeout right there. Noah Janela holding on. He goes down. They're trying to work their way back to the inside of the buoy.
And the difficulty to turn, right, when the wave is going towards the right and they want to turn left, and they had, easily dug their rail in and caused them to fall over.
And Eric Tarian having a hard time staying aboard. Noah Janela fighting for that third place position, because I believe the top 3 will be on to the semifinals, so they get to skip around. So that third place position is very important. You don't want to be fourth or fifth. You got to paddle in the repechage round.
Oh, yeah.
You want to get top three so you advance to the semifinals. So
Exactly.
that is a very, very confident win and a finish for Noah Janela to come in third, head to the semifinal. Eric Tarian will be into the repechage round, followed by Kael Abbey, who finishes in fifth. And that was heat number 1 results. Riggs Napoleon in first, Connor Baxter in second, Noah Janela in third, with Eric Tarian and Kaeo Abbey fourth and fifth. They'll be to the repechage coming up a little bit later. Right now, heat number 2 getting lined up and getting ready. So you want to be in the top 3, Lito, so you can skip that repechage round and have that much more time to rest.
Definitely. It'll put you in the top seed, and you won't have to work your way back up. And, you know, congratulations to them. And, you know, hopefully for those in the repechage round, they can, you know, work their way back up and get back into contention.
We're standing by for the start of heat number 2. So you see how fast they came back in from 1 lap. That was about a 5-minute heat.
And the tide as well. The tide today would definitely have an advantage or a disadvantage to the competitors right now.
And so they start from a seated position and get up to their feet and head out through the surf. Casper Steinfath with the hole shot. He's the one closest to the ledge here. So that was maybe getting a little bit of help from that outgoing current that we talked about. Jake Jensen right on his tail.
Trying to take advantage of the lull right now and try to get past this first section without having any sets to go over. Here's their first challenge right here.
And we're looking at Jake Jensen going over and cannot hold on. There is Casper Steinfath. And Casper with a good-looking stroke so far. As he heads for safety on that shoulder area over there. And here's the rear shot. There you see all of our racers, save for one, in the frame. Dylan Frick on the far left. There's all 5 in the frame. Close race. Barely getting over that wave. And while we watch these guys head around that first buoy, we will take you to Kainoa McGee standing by with the winner of that last heat, but a Riggs Napoleon.
Hey, all right. Mahalos, Rocky. Kainoa McGee here again. Well, we've been waiting all day, and finally we got the first heat underway. We have the winner of the first heat, Riggs Napoleon. It did live up to the excitement. Tell us how it was out there, Riggs.
It was really fun. We had some nice swell coming here through at Turtle Bay, and luckily I got a nice wave and took me in first place.
Yeah, it looks like the competitors who were right in front of you went for a swell right before you. They're paddling, and they're on it. And I was like, oh, no, this thing's going to be done already. Yeah. And then their wave died, and I looked back, and I just seen like for today would be one of the bigger sets. And I turned around, and like you were just sitting pretty all by yourself. Yeah. How hard or how easy was that wave?
No, I was so stoked. Like I saw, like I was in second place, and all of a sudden I went to fourth place. Like all 3 of them got that wave, and I was just like, no. And then I looked behind, there was one even bigger, and it was just perfectly took me all the way in, and their wave died off, and it was sick.
All right, man. Congratulations on your round 1 win. Good luck with the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
Aloha, bro. Have a good one. All right, Rocky, back to you, brother.
All right, thanks, Kainoa. And Riggs Napoleon, congratulations. Hope you can keep it up and carry that momentum into the semifinals. And then beyond into the final with that amazing second-place finish yesterday. He is a boy among men, and he is performing like a man, and it's good to see him finally get that big result he's been looking for the last couple of years at the finish at Haleiwa yesterday. Second place in the long distance, and really came alive, came into his own. I think that was a big stepping stone for him.
Oh, he's come a long way since the first time I met him and his dad at Honolulu 4 years ago at the beginning of the Waterman League. He was a little menehuni, just ripping it up, and now he's growing into manhood and just taking out the competition. And he hasn't even fully blossomed yet.
Yeah,
so
correct.
I have yet to see what's in store for this man.
And here's Casper, all the way from the surfing nation of Denmark.
Wow.
And it shows you how far-reaching stand-up paddleboarding has become an international sport, not only on the ocean, but rivers, lakes, any body of water can be used. And Casper has taken advantage of that all the way in Denmark and has become a top performer in the stand-up paddle World Series and the World Tour, the surfing and the racing side, and has become a very highlighted figure for Team Nash. We had a nice talk story with the Team Nash guys on Wednesday at Surf for the Bar, and Robbie Nash was there. Casper was one of the team riders that was speaking, along with Noah Janela, Kai Lenny, and Cody Kerbox, of course. But here comes Casper in the lead with a pretty sizable lead, and that's proving to be one of the tricky parts, Lito, like we said, carving back towards the cliff to get inside of that Nash buoy to be counting your race as official. So you got to obey all the rules. You got to turn on the right directions of the buoy, and you do have to finish between the ledge and the buoy to be considered legitimate and official. So Casper does just that. He'll advance on to the semifinal.
Yeah, I noticed as you come back in, and how you said you're going against the current, if you turn a little bit too late, it will cause your rail to dig in the side, as we saw in heat number 1.
Right.
A couple of competitors fell over just on a minor turn, and it wasn't even a big wave, but it's just that cross current that allows you to turn you over.
And here comes Dylan Frick from South Africa, along with, that looks like Peter Dories alongside him, and he goes down, but Dylan standing tall for a moment. Almost went down, a little shaky.
His composure there, very well.
And he'll finish in the top 3. He is currently in 3rd with some good momentum heading to the finish line. And you see to the left, Jake Jensen comes in 2nd. So it is Casper Steinfath from Denmark, Jake Jensen from Australia, and Dylan Frick from South Africa in the top 3. And Peter Dories getting in front of Robert Terii Tehau. So Peter Dories and Robert Terii Tehau finishing in 4th and 5th. So that was Peter Dories in 4th, Robert Teritehau in 5th. They'll be headed to the repecharge round. Once again, it's Rocky Cannon with Lito Archangel, bringing you the play-by-play from our seaside and poolside booth right here at Turtle Bay Resort for the Waterman League's Stand-Up Paddle World Series Finals.
Yes, and it's definitely starting off with some awesome competitions. Just finishing off with heat number 1 and heat number 2. Rocky, what do you think the differences between heat 1 and 2? Do you think heat number 2 were able to utilize the experiences from heat number 1 to their advantage and make it through to the second heat?
You know, I think everybody's got their own style and strategy, but there is a certain way that you have to approach this course. And the heat number 2 definitely learned something from watching heat number 1. But it's also when you're out there during your heat, the ocean's doing something a little bit different every single time. So it's hard to really kind of lay down a strategy from what you're watching before. It's definitely useful and helpful to at least know kind of what's going on. But really, it's all in that heat time of what you're doing. And when you're out there, the ocean, as you know too, can do so many different things in just a small amount of time.
Yeah, so basically that first heat was a guideline.
Kind of, yeah.
And then it obviously narrows down to your ability to adjust on a dime.
Exactly right. And there goes heat number 3. This is Zane Schweitzer, Mo Freitas, Arthur Arutkin, Titoan Puyo, Arthur Daniel, and Cody Huff. So a 6-man heat happening right now. There's Zane Schweitzer and Mo Freitas right in your frame. And there goes Zane and Mo over the first series of waves. Zane gets the edge, and
now they're standing by. The set is coming in, so we'll see who can handle.
Zane gets
pushed
pushed in. So now it's Mo Freitas in the lead. And Mo goes over that wave. Even the littlest chop of a wave can really move that 12-6 board around a lot.
Well, you know, Mo is not the largest competitor in this heat, but I think it's to his advantage, wouldn't you say, Rocky?
You know, he's a little bit less in the wind. He's got a short stature, so maybe better balance.
Yeah, definitely.
You see Hank Photo blazing by on the jet ski. We got the winner of the last heat from Denmark, Kasper Steinfath. He's standing by with the one and only Kainoa McGee.
Hey, how's it? Thank you, Rocky, again. Kainoa McGee here with our winner from Heat 2, Kasper Steinfath. Had a rather, let's not say easy, but fortunate heat there. Tell us how it I went out there, Kasper. Nada, damn.
All right, thanks, Kainoa.
1, 2.
Congratulations,
1, 2.
Kasper. And a tight race here for this one. We've got all 5 competitors still within less than the board length of each other. You see some paddles hanging in the air, like just trying to barely hold on and stay on the board. Zane Schweitzer able to get out in the lead. And it looks like it is Mo Freitas just on the heels of Zane.
And right now they're paddling into the wind, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
So now this is where luck will have to come into play, because now they're all turning around. Timing and luck is everything, because now hopefully for each one of these competitors who are right behind each other, there is a set. Now, is there any disqualifications if they all catch a wave together?
You can ride waves together, but you cannot turn into your other competitor and bump rails or force him off of the wave. That would be deemed interference, I guess you could say, racing interference. But they are allowed to ride the same wave. But, of course, they're all shooting for that same kind of finish area.
Yeah.
So you could see where possibly turning of boards could come into play as Zane out-paddles his competitor right next to him for that little wave right there. And he's going to continue to ride it all the way through. And these guys, a lot of them being surfers, are having to hold back their surfing desires and just ride the wave straight.
Just go straight, bro.
Just go straight.
You can hot dog after the contest.
Yeah, just get through the race first. And you see the angle right there. Realizing he was going too wide.
Exactly what you were talking about. Following the wall and not aiming towards the ledge.
And you would have to ride the wave and see how our competitors are navigating in the surf now. We're going back to Zane Schweitzer, who was angling perfectly, and he's going to be able to... He was angling a lot, and he's still going to barely make it inside the buoy. So a tight finish line here. But that is Zane Schweitzer finishing in first place. So great job from the Maui boy.
And that turn into the left inside of the buoy is definitely a challenging one. It doesn't seem like that because we're in the channel, but the way that the waves are pushing in one direction, once you make that left turn, they had almost purled a couple of times if they come in from the right angle.
And I think Mo Freitas probably took the best line of the first 3 heats we've seen so far, able to ride pretty much straight all the way in from the outside and not having to angle too much back to the cliff. And if he was able to, at least he found his line, and he's probably going to do that same thing for the next time. But this is for the third spot. That is for the third and final spot. Not sure if the surfer on the paddle on the left realized it because he just started relaxing, but that was for qualification to the semifinals. So important result right there. We'll have to stand by and see who got third because that's going to be repechage or semifinal.
That's going to be a tough one. I'm glad I'm not one of the judges to witness to.
We do have somebody. So just got confirmation it was the paddler on the left-hand side, Tituan Puyo, who was able to advance in that third place position. And heat number 3 is in the books. Zane Schweitzer in first, Mo Freitas in second. Tituan Puyo was in third. The rest of our field, Arthur Arutkin, Arthur Daniel, and Cody Huff will be in the repechage round. And we will be standing by for the start of heat number 4 in just a moment. We have one more paddler still making his way in. Heat number 4 standing by. It's Kai Lenny, Cody Kerbox, Paul Jackson, Kavika Kinimaka, and Fred Sach, who will be battling it out in heat number 4. And heat 4 getting in position. See Kai Lenny and Cody Kerbox waiting patiently on their Nash boards. It is a sitting start. So they must sit and get to their feet. And Cody goes down immediately. So it'll be a tough start for Cody. Kai Lenny gets off to a great start. And all eyes on Kai at the moment as he takes off. And heading out through the surf.
We have some sets coming out from the point, and I want to see how this is going to affect the competitors once they make it past this first section.
Right now you're looking at Cody Kerbox. And camera shifting over to Paul Jackson,
who is hugging the right side of the bear, which is very unorthodox in comparison with the previous competitors. Does he have something up his sleeve, Rocky, maybe, perhaps?
He was maybe listening in on our hugging the ledge advice earlier, but there's a point, actually, when you hit that small tree is when you want to shoot over at a 45-degree angle and take a ride around the shoulder. So Paul Jackson hugging the reef a little too long. Kai Lenny's already out beyond the surf break with Hank Photo buzzing back and forth on the jet ski, getting some great water angles and also providing water safety for us today. And Kai with a huge lead already at the first buoy. As you see Paul Jackson, now he's made his way over to the shoulder. Cody Kerbox in frame. Fridhoff Sach also in the frame. Kavika Kinimaka out there as well. And Jacko and Cody tight around that buoy. Heading to buoy number 2.
So Rocky, if they're coming around the outside buoy and there's a lull, what would be the best advantage or strategy for these competitors? Would it be to wait for a set or to just continue to keep paddling?
I don't know. You know, that's a very good question because, you know, if you keep paddling in and then a set comes and you got a big 4 to 6 foot whitewater behind you, that's going to be a hard thing to
maintain
it and ride out of. But waiting for a wave, you never want to be just waiting during a race. That's a tough thing to do as well. So
but in this instance,
I would probably paddle towards the shoulder just to keep my board moving and maintain forward momentum. But also, if a big set comes, you'll be out of danger paddling back towards the shoulder. And then, of course, you'll have to weave back this way. So that's a tricky situation to be caught during a low on the turnaround coming back in.
Yeah, definitely, I think. And plus, you also have to keep your momentum to stay standing. So what are you going to do? Paddle in circles while you're waiting?
Right.
I would say, I think that's the best case is to hit that shoulder.
Well, Kai gets away from the outside, and we're going to throw you down to Kainoa McGee, who is standing by with the winner of the last heat, Zane Schweitzer.
All right, mahalo
goes down.
Again, Kainoa McGee here back with Heat 3 winner, Zane Schweitzer. You guys saw him earlier in the interview, so obviously the nap and his strategy paid off. Tell us how it was out there, Zane.
Oh, it was good fun, you know. Course a little different than what we normally do out here at Turtle Bay. But, you know, the waves are different too, so it's working out. Got to push through off the start and first, and kind of my game plan was round that first buoy in the lead and try to start heading in before anyone else did. And Mo and I were heel to heel on our way in, had a little bit of a gap on the rest of the pack, and then I was able to get into a nice little bump on the outside and pulled me away from Mo, and so that connected me through the finish line with a pretty solid lead, so it felt good to finish with that.
All right, solid, bro. Congratulations.
All right,
good job, brother.
All right.
Good, we're good.
All right, mahalo Kainoa, and even with a slight error and a wipeout for Kaileni, he's still able to come in with a huge lead. Lito, he was from the start. He just started
flying it out,
and extending a lead, running away from the pack.
Yes, that was very good. And here we have Cody Kerbox, and I believe who is that next to him? Both vying for a wave, trying to get that momentum to catch that wave in and
looks
get
like
that second place position.
It looks like it could be Paul Jackson right there, and Cody Kerbox just trying so hard to hold the line with these big 12.6 racing boards. And like you said, Lito, it's more like managing a vessel as Paul Jackson going airborne over that front of the wave.
Congratulations to Cody Kerbox after that initial fall down right off the start. He may have slipped on his board or something, but he got back up, persevered, and maintained his composure and ended up with a second place slot.
And that's a little bit what we talked about earlier, is the competitors who can kind of get over the little humps and hitches that are going to happen out there. You're going to fall, most likely. I mean, the best guy in the world just fell down as well on his way in. So, you know, you got to be able to pick yourself back up, literally, and keep your composure, like you just said. Cody did a great job of that.
Yeah, congratulations to him, my newly found cousin.
And here we go. Able to keep his composure enough for third place is Australia's Paul Jackson. So Jacko moves on to the semifinals, just barely grazing the inside of that Nash buoy to complete his official third place finish. Congratulations, and he'll be moving on to the semifinals. We've got the women round one coming up next, which will be, needless to say, very challenging for all of our athletes today. And we'll see how our women will fare in this event heading out into the Turtle Bay Surf.
That one's for the mic. I give this one to Rock.
1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, this is the one.
1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. One, two, 1, 2.
How do we sound now? You can hear us? Give us a whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, women's round 1 getting ready. They are starting from the seated position right alongside the cliff here at Turtle Bay Resort. They must be inside the Nash buoy and inside the cliff here. So we got a narrow start and finish. And the start's okay, but coming back through that narrow chute, we've seen a lot of competitors have to really work their way back towards the hotel, back towards the resort here to make it inside that finishing line. And here we go, they're off.
It's on the tree. I'll get it.
There you see all of our competitors. There's a group of 4, and they hit the first part of the waves. 1 goes down, and they're kind of patiently waiting to see if they should navigate through this second one, and 2 go down, 2 remain standing. On our screen anyway here on watermanleague.com. And really motoring away right there on frame. And there's a shot from the bluff. You see Hank Photo in the background and Larry Haynes shooting off the ski up and over that wave. Good technique there. Nice footwork, yeah, Lito?
Yeah, definitely. She definitely has some good wave knowledge in regarding how to position her composure and her strategy in positioning the nose of that board. It's keeping her in the lead, definitely.
So in this heat 1 of round 1 is Lena Algautis, Kelsa Gabehart, Talia DeCoit, Laura Clayton, Rachel Brunch, and Haley Harrison. Heat number 2, get ready. Angela Jackson, Fiona Wild, Noelani Sach, Sunny Honscheid, and Keale Dories. Please get ready for heat number 2. And now they're heading out towards the first buoy. Going to go for that right-hand turn. They all seem to be, at least 4 of them are out of harm's way. This is a 6-person heat. 4 have made it. 2 remain on the inside to get out through the waves. So already some evidence of the struggle that is the race course today at Turtle Bay.
Definitely. You know, when you hit that first section, if you don't make that 45-degree turn, like you said, it can take you farther or it can take you farther in. And
Right.
in this case, it has done that with 2 of our competitors. So they're way off to the left right now, trying to get back into that channel to make it around the second buoy.
And some of you may be wondering about the rules of standing, and you must be standing at all times possible on your board. And even the knee paddling is discouraged, as it is the stand-up paddle World Series finals. And so sometimes, you know, you're in the impact zone, you have to kind of gather yourself, but you're expected to get to your feet as soon as possible. And we do have all types of folks around that are watching and making sure everybody's following the rules, because we do have a competition with rules that are in place that are to be followed. As you see, a nice head-to-head race out there between looks like Lina Algatis, who's wearing that yellow jersey. She's currently the front runner for the women's side of the stand-up paddle World Series, and she and Angela Jackson are very, very close in the points. So this final event will determine our women's champion.
Wow. I would love to emphasize on how difficult it is, especially for a day like today with the conditions that we have. A lot of people need to realize these women out here that are coming and competing in this specific course is difficult even for a regular avid amateur man. So when you see them getting out there and working their way through the waves, it's above and beyond what any normal amateur would have to go through, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. It is a race meant for those on an elite level of stand-up paddle race competition. And coming in from the outside, look at that right there. Able to catch one of those outside swells and catch up to the front two.
And in this case, I think the side shore had kept them from catching that wave. Possibly maybe on the next run, they might want to scoot up a little bit and then adjust as they know that they've got that momentum and are coming down the face. Especially with a 12-foot plus board, you don't want to be caught in the front as you're going down.
Definitely not, because we've seen a lot of carnage happen on the drops here at Turtle Bay with that 12'6" race board nose penetrating the bottom of the wave. We saw Paul Jackson in the previous heat get catapulted forward. He was able to regroup and get third and advance to the semifinals, but it's no joke dropping in on a steep wave with a big board that's meant for racing.
Exactly, and in the structure of this particular board, the rocker is almost non-existent.
Very
there might
minimal.
be a very little rocker, correct?
Just very minimal. That's absolutely right. As our first competitor comes through, that looks like, I want to say that might be Haley Harrison. We have kind of a glare with the afternoon sun peeling over us right now, and it's all we can see mainly are silhouettes from our view. There's a nice shot there, a big drop indeed. And this is going to be a battle as our first place finisher crossing the line. Here comes number 2 and 3.
Classic paddle battle here.
That's Laura Clayton. Who comes in second. So I believe that was Haley Harrison in first, Laura Clayton in second. Once again, hard to see the who's who with the glare a little bit. It was Talia DeCoit who finishes in third. She will be on to the semifinals.
So I believe the tide is at its peak for the day.
Actually, I stand corrected. Top 2 of these paddlers will go to the semifinals. So it will be Haley and Laura. So that was why they were battling so hard in that last stretch for that second place coveted position to the semifinals. So as you can see, one lap around this course, Lito, you're going to be pretty winded. And the least amount of laps you can do is what you're striving for.
Personally, I'm kind of glad I'm commentating here with you, Rocky.
Yeah. I'll ditto that right there. Second the motion. And heat number 2, please get ready. Angela Jackson, Fiona Wild, Noelani Sach, Sunny Honchide, and Kiale Doris. Please get ready at the starting line.
Yeah, just a little. You don't want to sing in a cave. So, Rocky, the tide, I looked at my tide charts, and the tide is at its peak high for the day. So, right from this point on, it'll start dropping. How is that going to affect our competitors from this point on?
With a dropping tide here, this size of swell, it won't affect them too much. But when the tide goes dead low, there are more waves breaking further out. So, as you can imagine, waves breaking closer to the buoy could change up the situations just a little bit and the conditions, but not too much tidal effect here when the waves are this size at Turtle Bay. So we should see much of the same heading through to the finals. With the final being closer to low tide, we may see some waves breaking a few feet further out, but not too much of a change, at least to the naked eye.
Okay. So basically there may be some waves breaking past the buoy. Do you think it may be essential for them to not necessarily hug the buoy as the tide is lower and to kind of go further out so that they can position themselves better for that wave, that set wave, just in case? Because like you said, luck does have a factor in this. You may make all the right turns and hit that buoy in a low tide position, and then there might not be any waves. So like we had talked about before, just keep paddling, go for it, just pray that you're not in the section.
Check.
And sets come and it just slams on you and it forces you to fall off.
You reading me? You got levels?
That's going to be the individual's wave knowledge heading towards the buoy. When they're about 20 yards away, they're going to have to look out and see what's coming and kind of make that determination then. But that's a great point that you bring up in the tidal changes here at Turtle Bay. We're going to take you down to Kainoa McGee, who's standing by with the winner of that last heat, Miss Haley Harrison.
All right, mahalos, Rocky. Again, Kainoa McGee here with our heat winner from ladies round 1, heat number 1, Haley Harrison from Hawaii. Looks like you had a good jump off the start there and then finished far ahead of everybody. Tell us how it felt for you out there.
Yeah, it felt really good. It's definitely really tricky conditions today, like lots of wind and waves, which makes it like a lot harder. But once you get like past the surf and like to the first buoy, around the first buoy, it definitely gets like a little easier after you head upwind and get waves in. But it was fun. Lots of competition from like all over the world. So.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good job out there. Go get some rest for your next heat coming up. Look for her in her 3rd round heat in the semis. All righty, see you guys later. Back to you, Rock. Aloha.
All right, on Kainoa, mahalo.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Haley Harrison. We are now waiting to start heat number 2, getting underway in just a moment. And Haley was able to take that first place, that last heat, by a pretty good margin. The battle was for second. It was Laura Clayton able to secure that second place position and head to the semifinals. In heat number 2, we got Angie Jackson, Fiona Wild, Noelani Sach, Sunny Honchide, and Kiale Doris, who will be on deck here very soon.
And that was some paddle battle we just saw there in the first heat for the women's.
Yeah, that 6-girl heat featured 4 of them getting out past the surf early on. 2 of them got really, really hammered by the waves. And it just goes to show how difficult these conditions are. And you really hit the nail on the head a moment ago when you mentioned that these wahine are battling in conditions that the average male stand-up paddleboarder would even struggle in. And they are excelling and doing a great job battling through the surf.
Yes, I definitely would not want to put money down racing any of them.
And these boards, they're not easy to ride. They're very narrow. They're very tippy. They are built for racing mostly flat water, although the Nash team did say at their talk story on Wednesday that they've been experimenting with different shapes to adjust to these types of conditions because, you know, the flat water racing is exciting and it's good fun, but this is where the action is in the surf. in and out through the waves. And when you have an arena like this at Turtle Bay where we can sit right on top of the action, front row seating, we're going to be building boards and equipment, and race designers are going to be kind of catering more to these kinds of conditions because it's so spectator friendly.
It's so engaging to even the normal viewer, those of you sitting here watching, and if this may be your first time watching stand-up paddling racing, in comparison to flat water racing, you have the factor of the open ocean and the elements doing what they want with you.
Yeah, having their way with you for sure. It is you with the ocean, and I always discourage from using the term you against the ocean because you're never going to win that battle.
Never.
So it's you with the ocean.
It's like trying to win arguing with your wife, you know what I mean?
Oh, bah, it's never going to happen.
Yep.
So it's you with the ocean as best as you can be, and trying to be with the ocean more than your other competitors are. And that is the case today. Very, very true to that nature today. Angie Jackson getting set. She is currently in second on the world rankings. She could become the world champion today. Lena Algatis out in first place for the rankings as heat number 2 is starting. And there's Angie, focusing on her right there, number 77. As the rest of our field heads for the channel already, kind of taking that angle straight from the start. And we've already got one competitor down. Angie holding strong. And important too, you want to angle your board so you hit the wave straight on. Any little bit of variation in angle is going to turn you that direction. So important to hit the waves as perpendicular as possible. Of course, you can't do it every single time. You just got to really, really strive to keep that board pointing out to the ocean.
I agree, yes. And, you know, this incorporates, like we had said before, being more of a vessel. You have to incorporate more seafaring knowledge rather than surfing knowledge in regards to getting over those breaks, getting over those sections. You want to be able, when you're driving a boat, whether it be a 13-foot Ali Kai or a 27 force, the same principles apply.
Yeah, definitely. And our girls are getting pummeled in the initial part of the serve. Angie is back up and paddling. You see her jersey flapping in the wind. She gets a little bit of calm water, gets another section to go over, and now they're heading out towards the buoy. And it looks like number 58, 59, and 60 right in a row heading to buoy number 1. And beautiful angle right there with the sparkle on the water. Looks like just a leisurely paddle, but from here. But out there, it is truly a grueling course.
Definitely, I agree. So it looks like the surfers who had fell had regained their composure and are continuing to press on. As we see here now, they're making it around the buoy. There we see Larry and Hank Photo, Larry Haynes catching those captions, footage right from the ocean perspective. And as we see, sets are coming.
Just to give you an idea, look at those waves breaking that far out. The swell, the northwest swell we've experienced here the last few days is still in very full effect. Uncharacteristic for a swell this early on the North Shore to be sticking around so long. So hopefully it's an indication of what's to come for the winter season. But for now, we're enjoying still 4 to 6 plus conditions at Turtle Bay. And the swell kind of arrived last week Thursday and stuck with us all the way through the weekend. Here it is Sunday afternoon, 3:30 or so Hawaiian Standard Time. For those of you watching on watermanleague.com, we do thank you very much. For those of you live here at Turtle Bay Resort, we thank you as well, as you're witnessing heat number 2 of round 1, the Stand-Up Paddle World Series Short Course Sprint Series race of the women's division. We're going to get right back into men's racing, the Reprecharge heat, coming up in just a moment.
So these predominant winds are normal trade winds, correct, Rocky?
Yes, that's correct. East-northeast. Today a little bit more north than the usual trade wind pattern. A little more northeast. So that gives
Reveals-
us a little bit more side wind.
Yeah, and it reveals the coming of winter, correct? That northeast winds. On the east side, on the Hilo side of the Big Island where I'm from, those east winds come straight head-on onshore winds at my home break at Honolulu. And so we have to rely on those often, sometimes too often, squalls of rain to help in glass off the conditions. And hopefully we're there to catch that window and catch that glassiness before the wind comes back.
Yeah, or some nice Kona wind days out there with some north swell.
Yeah, unfortunately, with those Kona winds, we get the fog and stuff like that.
too.
So, yeah, it's best to, when the fog does come, it's best to be out there in the open ocean.
Yeah. And here they come around the last buoy, heading back towards shore. And once again, kind of difficult to make out the faces as they're backlit by the sun. But what a great setting we have here. We got kids doing cannonballs in the swimming pool, nice and safe from the big waves, enjoying the flat water pool swimming. It's a saltwater pool, you know, so it's just like the ocean, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But we have the real saltwater pool on this side with all the waves, and we've got extreme stand-up paddleboard action going on. So, and everything in between, from Mai Tais to Pacificos to a little bit of music that'll be coming up later around 5:30. We've got music from you coming up a little later too.
We also got some Mountain Dew Kickstart, which we both had the pleasure of trying. And this I'm having trouble sitting still in my seat. Thank you. Mahalo to the girls for giving us some Kickstart. It was a pleasure meeting you.
And here we go. That's some wave riding action right there coming through the inside section. And it's kind of a habit too. It's hard to keep your paddle still when you're in the race. You're on the wave. You really can't go any faster, but you still got to just try. Huh?
Yeah, you never know.
And that's Keale Doris, who we're focused on right now on your frame. And she's got nursing a little bit of a foot injury during the long distance race yesterday. She did not participate. She had a wrap around her foot, but she is.
I think I see that wrap.
She's bearing through it. And it looks like Fiona Wild finishing in first. So she was our champion yesterday for the long distance race. And now she is keeping that momentum going, winning heat number 1. Here comes Keale Doris in second. She doesn't have the wrap on her foot today, but she was in a noticeable limp yesterday. So some overnight healing sessions have got her in shape for today's short course sprint race. And here comes Angie Jackson. If she's going to be the champion of the Stand-Up Paddle World Series, she is going to have to battle through the ever tough heats of the Reprecharge round. That'll be coming up a little bit later. But Angie, sorry, that is not Angela Jackson. I stand corrected. That is Sunny Hunshide. And so Sunny Hunshide finishing in third. That means Angie is currently in fourth, and she will be climbing back on her board very close to the finish line. As you can see on your screen there, she's...
Well, this part is very difficult, Rocky, because she now has to turn 45 degrees and try to make it against the current. So she has a slight possibility of digging her rail as the waves come and approach her from the side.
Yeah, she's heading back towards the cliff right there to get inside that narrow finish line of the Nash buoy. And that is, I believe, Noelani Sach, who is on the outside looking for a wave to bring her back towards the finish line that much quicker. So what an exciting first two heats of the women. We saw a lot of thrills, a lot of spills, and sending a little bit of chills through your spine if you're watching, and boards flying everywhere, paddles all over the place. It was treacherous.
Well, personally, in any sport, I love watching women play. They definitely have a lot of heart, whether it be volleyball, softball, baseball, or even surfing. It's definitely an enjoyable thing, and it's very humbling coming from a man to watch women go through ordeals that would make any amateur buckle.
Yes.
So congratulations to all of them.
And we're going to take you down to the winner of that last heat and the winner of yesterday's long distance competition, the bubbly, the talented, standing by with Kainoa McGee, Fiona Wild.
All right, Mahalo's Rocky. With us is the winner from heat number 2, Fiona Wild. She actually won yesterday's long distance sprint from Turtle Bay all the way to Haleiwa. She had a good race out there today. Let's see how she felt about it.
Yeah, it was good. I don't think yesterday was a long distance sprint, but long distance race. And yeah, it was. Yesterday was really cool. It was beautiful out there, and today my goal is to make it through this one, to skip around, and I did that. So we're on a good track.
Yeah, excellent. By winning the first heat, you get through to 2 rounds ahead, so you don't have to. You get to rest at a repecharge. So go get some hydration and relax.
Thanks.
Good job. Back to you, Rocky.
All right, thanks, Kainoa, and congratulations, Fiona. She will be, as Kainoa said, advancing to the semifinals and getting to rest for the repecharge, but no rest for the repecharge men as they are set to go. This is going to be a gnarly one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, looks like 6 competitors in this heat. Looks like Eric Terrian, I see there. Arthur Arutkin. Looks like I see Peter Dory's in there. As well as Kavika Kinimaka. Got Kaeo Abbey there as well. They're in the seated position, getting ready.
This is definitely going to be an exciting start. I want to see some total action going down before the first section. That's going to be really exciting. To think what mental preparations they're going through right now as they're sitting and waiting for the horn.
The old women. All right, we're just moments away from the start of heat number 1 of the repecharge of the men's. And here they go.
That was fairly quick how they got past that first section there. You can tell they're accustomed to the conditions for today. Yeah. No.
How many go out of this wrestle? 3? So yeah, they kind of got lucky with a lull right there, Lito, and made it out to the first section of being out beyond the waves fairly quickly. And a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of luck, getting the timing just right. And I think maybe that's what our race starter was waiting for the repecharge heat. As whoa, some carnage, guys going down, boards turning all the way around 180 degrees. It looks like we have a lost board, possible broken leash. I can't imagine he wasn't wearing a leash, because who would not wear a leash on a day like today?
Well, I've known some individuals who just refuse and want to go sovereign and just do it, and they've succeeded. But I think it's better safe than sorry, I would say.
On a day like today in competition, for sure. And we do have a broken leash and a loose board. If Water Patrol can hear us out there, maybe check on our competitor. But what a race day today here at Turtle Bay with large surf, the world's best stand-up paddle athletes. And stand-up paddleboarding, you know, it's one of those sports, especially on a day like today, during your heat, there is no time to rest. You're firing on all cylinders. A 5-minute race course feels like you did 2 hours of paddling because you're going so hard. And the way the course is set up, it's grueling against the wind, paddling on the outside, in and out through the surf, and needless to say, can be very difficult. And the equipment that they're using, not the easiest to balance on. So a lot of tiny muscles being engaged all heat long.
Yes, definitely. And those are, along with your major muscles, those strength and those balance and stability muscles are crucial to maintaining your composure. People would think it's just your quadriceps and your calves and your gluteus maximus muscles,
right?
Our favorite muscle. But what really supports your stability and your core strength are those fast twitch muscles, how we call it in a kinesiology world.
We're fortunate to have a person of expertise up here with us in kinesiology, Beralito, doing some work at UH Hilo on the Big Island, University of Hawaii at Hilo. So if you would like to gain some knowledge in that field, please check out him on the Big Island as we see Eric Tarian blazing through that inside section with a big lead and almost going down right there, but hold steady. Now waiting for...
Waiting. That's the first time we saw a competitor actually waiting for the wave, but he could afford to do that. One, there wasn't no...
Oh, gosh, that's going to be a hard one. And he will not hold on.
That was tough.
And that will give a chance to our competitors on the outside. Looks like Kavika Kinimaka on the outside portion. Hard to tell who that is on the inside right there. But he's going to catch this wave. And another one of our competitors. So 2 racers on the same wave. One out of frame. We're sticking with the goofy footer, who is in frame right now. And Eric Tarian comes in first, but we're framed on our next 2 competitors. So there's Eric at the finish line. And it's only top 2. So right here, this is our second place finisher. As our third place finisher, that is Arthur Daniel, who comes in second, and he advances on to the semifinals. And he will join the rest of our semifinalists coming up a little bit later. I believe that is Arthur Arutkin, who's wearing number 78, heading towards the finish line. There's a good wide shot of our start of the first buoy out there on your screen, and then to the right, out of frame, is our second buoy. So they go out, kind of a triangular course that we have here, in and out through the surf, and it's definitely being utilized to the best ability of anyone in the world. If anybody could do this race, it's these guys here today.
Oh, this is one of the most challenging courses I have ever seen, with the factors of wind, waves, current, depth, tide. all of these factors coming into play at different variables, hitting you last minute. It all depends and is determined by your water skill, your water knowledge, your water wisdom, the ability to adjust on a dime and to be able to work with that. As we saw earlier in this last heat, sometimes you're going to have to stop and catch a wave. Sometimes you're going to have to maintain momentum.
4.
And it's all of these factors that these guys got to think about. So I agree with you that mental preparation is very key to succeeding and making it out of this heat.
Heat number 2 of the Repicharge getting ready. Only 2 move on, so it will be, looks like 4 competitors, 2 moving on. Actually, there's Kavika Kinimaka in this heat. And they're off. Kavika with the early slim lead. As we're watching from the beach angle currently on watermanleague.com.
Kavika definitely using his reach to his advantage. That reach is like Johnny Bones Jones.
Yeah.
Very long reach and using it. You can tell looking at that silhouette right there of him. Just using that to his advantage to get that leverage, to maintain that lead.
That is the key right there is leverage, but he slips off. Crucial error right there for Kavika Kinimaka, allowing Peter Doris to get out in the lead. Kavika now sitting in second, battling alongside number 67. So balance and precision of balance coming into play. That was just a small wave too that got him off his board. So he'll have to do a better job heading out towards the bigger waves, and we'll see if he can climb back into the lead. Peter Doris, the veteran in this event, out there in the lead currently. There he is, the Aussie. He does very well.
And it just goes to show you that just because you're taking the lead in the beginning doesn't mean you'll maintain the lead in the end.
Yeah, the short course is all but short when you consider the many things that can happen along the way. So it's about 5 minutes, but in 5 minutes, bro, a lot can happen. Can go your way, can go against you. It's all about taking advantage of the conditions when they're going your way and being able to keep your composure when it's not going your way and going against you. So those 2 factors, very important in this short triangle course.
And it definitely can. Those changes of elements, those changes of all those factors can definitely affect you mentally.
Yeah. And like you said, the mental game here is very important. You got to be strong upstairs as well as through the rest of your body. But that mind game, it's you against yourself first, and then you with your competitors, and then of course you got to be in rhythm with the ocean.
And it's so difficult to remember and remind yourself that it's you against yourself, especially when you have 5 guys behind you, trying to catch you and beat you. And then you have to remind yourself, okay, it's me against myself. Don't let myself beat myself.
Right. Don't get inside your head too much.
Yeah.
And keep your composure, as we've been saying. That's very important as the race will go on. And it looks like Peter Doris holding on to the lead, but Kavika Kinimaka able to get up close to him as we see them dip around the bushes. That is how far out the buoy is and around the point from our shoreline shot. And there we are filming more from the point as Peter Doris and Kavika Kinimaka go over the feathering wave, headed into the wind. Not the easiest thing to do while you're standing because your body kind of acts like a sail and it wants to resist the wind. So that is all the more tough paddling against the wind on a narrow race board with huge swells coming and going beneath your feet.
And you know as well as I do that these competitors are using all of their strength and their balance and stability muscles, the muscles at the tips of their toes, the way that they displace everything that they're moving. One little off step and it could mean falling over.
Well, and we saw exactly that from Kavika Kinimaka, who was in the early part of the heat. He had a good stroke going, using his leverage,
Beautiful
like you
stroke.
said, and then one little glitch, and he was in the water. So he's now been able to catch up to Peter Dories and is just a mere 1 or 2 board lengths away, and it could be the matter of catching a wave in or the surf that's coming behind them that will determine who's going to win this heat. But it is top 2, advancing to the semifinals, as Peter elects to take a more inside line. Kavika sticking to the shoulder outside line, and we'll see who picks the better course. And that's kind of the beauty and the fun of this course, is that within the buoy marked course, there are those slight variations that can really mix it up and change it for our competitors. As you see, Peter able to get the meat part of that wave, the power point of the wave, and catch it, while Kavika was on the shoulder and he could not get into it. And the waves really do taper off a lot when you get to that shoulder section. So Peter Dories picking the right line there and heading in the lead.
Yes, and the reasoning behind that shoulder tapering off is the depth from the main section going off to the shoulder drops dramatically, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much like a shelf. When you do some snorkeling and diving out here during the summer months, you will see a noticeable shelf of a drop-off that is right on that side of the wave. And Peter Dories coming in first, the veteran, taking out the young boys, still going strong, as Kavika Kinimaka vying for that second place position and a berth in the semifinals, as he stays low to hold on. And we can't overemphasize the fact that you've got to stay low. It's hard to relax on these race boards when you're riding a wave. And see there, he almost went down again, but he's very, very stable.
Yep.
As the wave gets smaller and headed into the finish line. Good footwork there for Kavika Kinimaka, finishing in second, going to the semifinals. Great job. Our last competitor coming in, I believe our other competitor, Fridtjof Sach, decided to throw in the towel. Is not a bad idea. If you get caught in that first section, it is nearly impossible to catch up and be in the top 2. It's all a matter of making it through this first series of waves as clean as possible. And he just had a hard time battling, but he's made it back to the beach safe. So that's the main thing. Everybody comes back in one piece and safe and sound.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you win some, you lose some, and a loss is definitely a learning factor, and it's never really a total loss. He can learn from this ordeal and come back even stronger the next time.
So heat number 1 of the women's repechage going to get lined up here. Actually, is the only heat of the repechage, and top 4 will move on. So Talia DeCoit, Lena Algatis, Rachel Brunch, Kelsa Gabehart, Sunny Hohenscheid, Angela Jackson, and Noelani Sach are all standing by to start. 8 people, I believe, 7 competitors in this repechage. And it's one of those things, Lito, the more you put together in a heat, it can get more difficult when you have more boards and paddles out there too.
More boards and more, you know, all of these competitors have made it to this heat. So they're on fire. The chances of them making it are better. And personally, this is my favorite part because it's the women. They're competing. I'm married. I have a daughter. And I don't even attempt to even compete anything with them because I know I'll lose.
Yeah,
so,
and then you don't want to have that happen.
No.
Better just to not play.
Yes, no, you win.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. But I always have the last say, and that last say is yes, dear.
The repechage rounds are also so die-hard because it is kind of a win or go home situation. So there, it's a desperate last chance to stay in the competition. That's where you see a lot of heated battles in these repecharge rounds.
And this is where you see the most come out of these women. They come out and they go all out. They have their horse blinds literally on, and they're just going.
And it is Lena Algatis in this heat and Angie Jackson. They are number 1 and number 2 on the World Series, vying for the championship. You see Angela Jackson on that red Falcon board right here. Lena Algatis, of course, easy to spot. She's got the yellow number 1 jersey on. So Lena and Angie are battling for the World Championship here today. We will crown the champion of the entire Stand-Up Paddle World Series for the women at the conclusion of this event. So keep your eyes on the yellow jersey number 1 and also on Angela Jackson on the red Falcon board, who just went down. Lena is stroke for stroke with that competitor next to her as they battle through the first series of waves.
And they're just plowing through those sections, Rocky. It's amazing how they keep their balance and just maintain stability.
And you see the footwork there of Lena. She's got a pretty wide stance, which is good for stability, but she's almost got more of a surfing stance going through the waves, and has one foot slightly forward than the other to give her stability not only left to right, but front to back.
Yeah, I noticed that with that little bit side stance, it allows her to maintain that speed. But, you know, as they pass the section, for those of you just beginning viewing stand-up paddling, their momentum stops almost to a complete stop when the wave passes them, and then they have to maintain paddling just to stand, just to move inches by inches and then regain their momentum. So the conditioning is a definite big factor when you want to really make it out of these short distance races.
So right now we just see a silhouette of a paddler, and there's a better shot of Angie Jackson as she rounds the first buoy. She's currently number 2 in the world standings on the Stand-Up Paddle World Series. And she heads upwind for that final buoy, and we have the dark horse taking the lead with Lena Algatis in second. Top 4 will make it to the semifinal. So right now, all 3 of those wahine are in the running for the semifinal, but a lot can change heading back in towards shore with the big surf pounding through this Turtle Bay surf break. And it could be a decider of the world title if Lena or Angie should lose in the repecharge round, and whoever moves on, they would be they're so close in the race standings in the points that the loser of this would bow out, and if the whoever moves on would be the champion. So there is a possibility the championship could be clinched in this particular heat right now, but right now they're both looking like they're in the top 4. So we'll have to wait till they make that turn and head back to shore.
Yeah, the vie for first right now is very, very close. There's a 2-3 board difference between first and second, but as we all know, all it takes is one little wrong adjustment.
Yep.
And then someone will just creep up from behind and take the lead. Even the third place vying, there's still a chance.
So I can see Lena in the yellow trying to determine if that is Angie Jackson beside her or if Angie Jackson just turned the buoy behind her. There are 3 of our competitors right there. It looks like it is Angie who is in third. And here's the first wave being caught. And this is our competitor who was not in the running for the world title, but taking the lead of this heat right now and getting her spot secured for the semifinal, leaving no doubt in anybody's mind that She wants to be there, riding this wave beautifully all the way in. Solid stance right there and gliding through the inside section, almost to the finish line. Very well done. There's Lena Algatis, currently in second place. Christian, who's that? Who is that? And here comes Lena. So right now she is trying to secure a spot in the semifinal. There's Angie Jackson, also trying to secure her positioning for the semifinal and keep her world championship hopes alive. Come on, you guys. Give it up for Lena Algatis, coming in second. Currently number 1 in the world on the Stand-Up Paddle World Series. Followed closely behind, not only in points, but in this heat, Angela Jackson. Give it up for Angie Jackson from Australia. Angie coming in, keeping her world title hopes alive. So the chase for the Stand-Up Paddle World Series title moves on, thanks to the advancement of Lena and of Angie. They will head to the semifinals, where they will battle to the final. Now, coming up in that semifinal, whoever loses in the semis and whoever moves on to the final will be the champion. So the excitement is still building, the suspense still there for the women's world title race down to the final event here at Turtle Bay Resort.
So Rocky, I hear you celebrated a birthday just recently. 21st birthday, I believe?
October 10th. Not exactly, but 1979 was the birth year. The big 3-5.
Well, happy birthday to you. I'm sorry I couldn't make your festive event.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And it was festive indeed Friday night, as we have our top 4 competitors all advancing through. And our last 3 are now making their final leg through to the finish line. And there is one of our 4th or 5th place finishers that will not be advancing to the semifinal, but nonetheless a great effort in finishing the course. I mean, that is just an accomplishment in itself.
Exactly. Just to be out here amongst the elite, to be able to compete with them year-round, is just such an awesome challenge. Regardless of what place you end up in, it's a major accomplishment.
And we have the semifinal number 1 of the men standing by. So we are zipping through these rounds, and the top 4 will go into the finals. The bottom 4 will go into a consolation final. So it's going to be a lot more racing to go here on day number 2 of the Stand-Up Paddle World Series Finals from Turtle Bay Resort on the North Shore. Semi-finalists should be checked in and ready. We see them at the starting line. So now this is an 8-person heat. Lito, we're pushing the limits on how many we can fit in that starting line.
That's going to be an added factor to this competition. Hopefully our competitors are physically and mentally ready for this, and aware that, you know, they can't keep their horse blinds fully on. They have to utilize their peripherals so they don't get into any collisions, because I believe if there is a collision, that would mean some sort of penalty.
It'll be more of intentional collisions, incidental collisions. We know there's going to be some close turns around buoys, and that kind of thing, and waves pushing boards left and right. But any intentional stuff is definitely going to be flagged. But these guys actually are very, very respectable competitors, and they do a good job of keeping them distance between each other. Peter Dories, please check in. Report to the starting line. Peter Dories, please get out to the starting line. Here he is.
Good luck,
right
Peter.
Here.
So I guess you can say that it's safe to say that any kind of interaction with other competitors would definitely hinder your opportunity to maintain and gain that lead.
Yeah, you definitely you want to keep your space, keep your distance as much as possible. Of course, when you're all heading for the same target, it's inevitable that you're going to be in close proximity to your competitors. That's just the nature of the course, the nature of the sport. And like I said earlier, most of these competitors are very, very respectable to each other, and it's more of competitive ohana more than anything.
And they've just got their game face on.
Yeah.
And they're ready to, they have their objectives. Unfortunately, they all have the same objective. And it's, let the best man win for the day.
Yep.
Well, in this case, for the year.
Yeah, we are narrowing it down to our final positioning points for the ratings. And it is Connor Baxter who will be featured in semi number 2, who has been able to clinch his stand-up paddle World Series championship last month in Huntington Beach. But there is an epic battle for second, and each position you can climb to with a limited amount of competitors. The stand-up paddle World Series, still pretty brand new on the international level and on the competitive level. So it's still building momentum, building a following, and each position you can climb is very, very prestigious.
Yes, I'll agree with you. It's always better to try and keep on pushing forward. However, this stand-up paddle is blowing up immensely worldwide. As we have seen before, we have competitors from Denmark, from all over the world.
Germany, France.
Germany.
We have Australia. We have Tahiti. Here in Hawaii, of course, from all the islands. And it is a very, very exciting, fun sport that has been growing on all bodies of water across the world. And if you haven't tried it yet, you got to come out to Turtle Bay right here, visit our guidepost in the lobby, and get signed up for a stand-up paddle lesson experience in Cavella Bay with flat water and tons of turtles as the races are underway in semifinal number 1. Kai Lenny in your frame right there. Mo Freitas got a good stroke going. And we see Riggs Napoleon sporting the hat in the mix as well. We have Paul Jackson in this heat, Jake Jensen, Arthur Daniel, and Peter Dories. Heat number 2, check in, get ready, report to the starting area. Connor Baxter, Casper Steinfath, Dylan Frick, Zane Schweitzer, Tituan Puyo, Cody Kerbox, Eric Terrien, and Kavika Kinimaka. Check in heat number 2. Still a tight pack heading out past the first section of the waves here. They're now into safer waters. As you can see, just silhouettes with that bright glare. Now we're shifting to our shoreline cam. That is got a good shot. The rhythm of the paddles, some in sync with each other, some not. As they round buoy number 1, Kai Lenny in first. His hair still dry. Jake Jensen, it looks like, in second. Mo Freitas right there in third. Top 4 will move on to the final. This is sudden death. Top 4 go to the final. Actually, the bottom 4 get another chance in the consolation round. but you know all these guys are wanting to be in that final.
Definitely, Rocky. They've all got their game faces on, and they're just plowing away.
And Kai Lenny with a slim lead over Jake Jensen. And like you said earlier, the peripherals coming into play. You can see the blades and the boards right around you. It's hard not to notice.
Oh.
And we'll see how the composure will be kept by each competitor as they feel those other guys right around them in close proximity, especially when you turn the buoy.
Right when you're turning in the buoy, your peripherals is, and when you have competitors right on your heels or right next to you, it's such an added mental factor.
And it looks like Jake Jensen able to sneak out to the lead. As we say, you just want to be top 4 for this heat here, and I guarantee you, Kai Lenny, knowing his strategy, he's not letting it all hang out just yet. He'll accept a second, third, or a fourth in this round just to have that much more energy going into the final. And I got to say, a lot of these guys do have that strategy, but you got to be very careful that you're not lackadaisical in these rounds, because it can come up to bite you in the end. And we've seen that happen to other competitors before where, you know, they didn't want to use all their energy for the semifinal, but, you know, you still got to work at it and give it your best shot, because there's other guys that are right there with you, and they will be glad to take your spot. Here we go. Sorry, I've got somebody talking over here too. There's Kai Lenny and Jake Jensen battling number 1 and number 2.
On the same wave. Now it's all about maintaining that stability. Here we have the remaining 3.
This is more important.
Wow.
4 guys on one wave, only 2 positions to qualify for the final. And they do have to work.
One's down
to inside this buoy. Here comes Kai and Jake Jensen, and they'll be number 1 and number 2. Looks like Jake. Oh, Kai getting a little boost right there, but the battle right here, these 3 guys.
Oh.
Here we go. That's Riggs Napoleon. That's Mo Freitas. And that is, looks like Arthur Daniel.
Inches away from each other.
Wow. We'll have to get the official call from the director down there that is watching the finish.
That is too close.
As Mo Freitas, Riggs Napoleon, and Arthur Daniel battling for that coveted 4th place position.
Rocky, that was neck and neck. We couldn't call it from here. That was neck and neck. They were inches right next to each other. Neck and
our
neck.
position, we're actually at the angle that you're seeing on your screen right now. So we're kind of from the back end position, so we don't get a true horizontal angle on which board crossed the line first. But it's just like a horse race, a dog race, a rat race. The nose first wins.
Yep, they need that Instagram snapshot final.
The replay.
And post it. Hashtag.
So we'll get the official results here in a moment. But it was Kai Lenny and it was Jake Jensen in the top 2 positions. And then for 3rd and 4th, it was a very close race between Riggs, Mo, and Arthur. So we are going to be combining our 2 4-person women semifinals into one final. It'll be Haley Harrison, Laura Clayton, Lena Algatis, Rachel Brunch, Fiona Wilde, Kiali Dory, Sunny Honeychide, and Angela Jackson coming up in just a moment. But here's semi number 2 underway. Connor Baxter, your champion in the yellow. He is in the mix with Zane Schweitzer right there in front over the first little wave. Cody Kerbox also in this heat, along with Dylan Frick, Tituan Puyo, Eric Terrien, and Kavika Kinimaka and Casper Steinfath as well. And there you see a shot from the side angle, that very rugged, jagged Turtle Bay Reef in the foreground. And that is what awaits if you get too close. We've seen some pretty gnarly carnage in the past on that reef, but so far today everybody's pretty safe, except for a couple of nose dives and catapults off the board, rail digging.
Well, they were lucky the tide was a little high, so you know you can only imagine why the ancient Hawaiians called that type of rock yeah.
Oh yeah,
because when you land on them,
I know. Can add a couple more ahs on that. Here we go, heading into the sunset glare right there. And now we got a better view of all of our competitors. Zane Schweitzer out in front.
Yeah, please. Making it around the outside buoy.
There's Connor Baxter, currently in third, battling for that final advanced position. That is Cody Kerbox, I can see. It's hard to tell who the other...
Literally a chain gang, one after the other. It's anybody's game right now.
And there's Zane pounding away on the outside, headed against the wind. And that's probably, you know, I mean, there's just so many tough parts to this course. It's hard to say which one is tougher, going against the wind, going in with the surf, going out through the surf. It's kind of pick your poison kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so many factors involved. You know, you only have to just go through these ordeals repetitiously throughout the year. Because if you think of all these factors while you're out there, it'll mentally smash you. And it'll be difficult to maintain that edge, that lead.
And there you see the train of paddlers. Connor Baxter currently in third. That is good enough for an advancing position so far. But a lot can change. Turning that final buoy. Zane Schweitzer still holding the lead. It looks like Casper Steinfath currently in second. So the usual suspects in this heat in the top 3 positions, battling for fourth. The rest of the field, that final qualifying spot. And here goes Zane. He's on a wave. And there's Casper right with him until Zane, wow, look at that wind just picked up so hard. A gust of wind blowing sideways against Zane's body. Pretty much blew him off that wave. And here comes Connor Baxter from behind and now sneaking onto the same wave. And Zane not able to get into it. Yes, he is. He is just on the top part of the wave.
Any second of hesitation or pause will just cause him to lose that wave. It's so crucial.
And he was able to keep going.
What a beautiful silhouette shot we have right there. Trying to maintain his nose. Keeping it from purling.
Now he turns back towards the finishing area, that narrow finishing area. The buoy that has moved in considerably from where it was in the first heat. So the course just getting that much longer.
Oh, paddle battle.
Here's a battle for second. Connor Baxter, Casper Steinfath. So both of these competitors will be moving through to the final.
from here it looks like Connor took second place, but it's the main thing. They both moved to the final.
Oh, and here comes Kavika Kirimaka from the outside and tries to hold on. He was doing the drop knee stance.
That was so difficult.
And looks like Cody might have lost a paddle, and that is part of the criteria as Dylan Frick comes in. And here comes Eric Tarian. So it looks like Dylan able to clinch that 4th place position and move on to the final. As Tituan Puyo and Cody Kerbox finishing number 5 and number 6 respectively, or 6 and number 7. Eric Tarian finishing in the 5th position, I believe, just missing out on a semifinal final appearance. But we'll see all these paddlers again. Bottom 4 will go into the repechage round. We're going to take a short 5-minute break from competition to give you the women's final coming up next. It's going to be exciting because Lena, number 1 paddler in the world for the women, and Angela Jackson are both in the final. And it will be between those two. Whoever beats the other will be the world champion of the Stand-Up Paddle World Series. So it has literally come down to the last heat of the entire year to decide the champion. Okay, other people are telling me other stuff.
Beautiful day here at Turtle Bay.
Oh, it's so awesome.
This wind is keeping the humidity from affecting us in a sticky way.
You know, I was down at Haleiwa yesterday, and it was just boiling hot where we were. We were in the shadows of Surf and Sea building, and it was dead winds where we were, and the sun was beaming down, so it was dripping sweat. But today, we feel like we get natural air conditioning.
Oh, it's awesome.
Keeping all the equipment cool, keeping us cool.
And all these shade masters out here taking advantage.
Just got the official report that Lena would have to get 4th or below, and Angie would have to get in the top 3, or possibly win to be the world champion. So we'll bring the more detailed scenarios as we approach the final, and get that information for you out there because it has come down to the last heat. And we're going to throw you down to Zane Schweitzer, who battled through that semifinal round to win. And he's standing by with the one and only Kainoa McGee.
All right, here we go, Rocky. Here with winner from Heat 2 of the semifinals. Zane Schweitzer seems to be on top all day. The nap's definitely working for him. So that looked like a good heat, real competitive. Has the conditions changed any from earlier?
You know, I kind of noticed that maybe the sets are starting to fade a little more on the outside buoy, so maybe be able to catch a few more waves just straight off the turn, right into a wave, hopefully for the final. But, you know, it's tough out there. It's all about choosing the right line like we talked about earlier, kind of, and really riding the right rips and the right currents. And you know, I've always loved competing out here, racing out here, just because it's so strategic. And so I'm super stoked to make it through another first. And yeah, I really want to win this event. You know, I tore my ligament and sprained my joint in my right foot last weekend in the bow of the paddle, and probably shouldn't even be on the water right now, but I've been working so hard this year to get where I am and on the standings, and so now I gotta finish it off. So it's the last one. I'm gonna give it my all.
All right, buddy. Looks like you're nonetheless for wear, even with the injury. Keep up the good work. We'll see you in the finals. Good luck. All right, brother.
Oh yeah.
Aloha.
All right, thanks, Kainoa. And you heard it right there, Zane Schweitzer finishing the year strong, even through injury, and that's just the kind of competitor that he is. He won't let something as little as a foot injury hold him back, so he will be competing, giving it his all in the last event here today. He's in the top 4, so he could be climbing up a couple of notches, and you heard him. He's been competing all year long, not going to let this one slip away from him.
Yeah, definitely. This last competition, this last race right here definitely validates his mental strength and being able to persevere despite his physical limitations, his healing process, and not letting it get to him, not playing the what-if game.
So Zane Schweitzer headed to the final, along with, I believe that was Connor Baxter, Casper Steinfath, and Dylan Frick in that semifinal. Okay, girls, we're going to have you take your positions in the water and get ready for the final. We'd like to thank you all for joining us on watermanleague.com. And please check out watermanleague.com for all of the competition highlights, all of the great video clips and stories that are featured about all of our athletes on watermanleague.com. For those of you watching here live at Turtle Bay, we thank you for coming and staying with us way out on the North Shore. I know you took a lot to get here, and you have thousands of choices for hospitality, but you choose Turtle Bay for that extra special experience, and that's what we aim to give you, whether it's through the air and our helicopter rides that we have, our stables and our pony and horse experiences that we have here on site, over 1,000 acres to explore, and of course surfing and stand-up paddleboarding, my forte, through the Turtle Bay Guidepost right there in the center lobby. You can get surfing and stand-up paddleboarding brought right to you. Of course, on a day like today, we're not surfing or stand-up paddleboarding out here like these professionals. We go over to Cavella Bay, where it's nice and quiet, plenty turtles, and good fun times at Cavella Bay. So we've got something for everybody. As you see, the Magnum chopper giving us a...
Is that TC in the chopper?
Yeah.
Well, that sure does bring back memories. In our generation, anyway.
Oh, yes.
We're from the Magnum PI generation. What did you say there, Rocky?
I believe so. I was...
We're on the cusp
young
of
boy.
5-0 and the beginning of the Magnum PI. Volleyball playing, wearing those high shorts. I think Tom Selleck was the only person to be able to get away with wearing shorts that high.
He could rock those shorts.
Oh, yeah.
They was like above his thighs.
And women still love them. I don't think he could get away with it wearing it now, though.
Not anymore. Well, maybe only him still could.
Maybe only him. Maybe only him.
And the push broom mustache. So the chopper bringing us some very good views from high above. Of course, we got Larry Haynes in the water right there on your screen, bringing us the views from down below in the water. We got you covered from air, land, and sea, as we like to say here at Turtle Bay, as well as the Waterman League. We got all the angles covered from our stand-up paddle World Series final.
I'd also like to say a big shout out to Larry. He's been in the water since this morning, and I came out early to help him out in the keiki competition, and what a big shout out to him. This guy is a true
he's an Iron Man.
Oh, awesome.
Iron Man water photographer, and one of the best in the world, hands down. Does filming for all kinds of productions, and we thank him for being here at the Stand Up Paddle World Series and at all of our events that he's able to make it to for the World Series and World Tour events all around the globe.
And I was with him last night. We had a few, and we didn't get home. He dropped me off back here at the Turtle Bay, and I know for a fact he didn't get much sleep. So, man, that's awesome. And he's a little older than me, so I give him big time credit because I'm a little tired, but I'm still good. I had that kickstart.
Speaking of kickstart, here it goes for the women's final. The chopper bringing us great views, but also a lot of noise.
You know, being from the Big Island, this chopper gives us flashbacks of choppers in the mountains.
Hey now. So there they go. There's a close-up shot of our competitors. Now we're getting a little bit of a wider angle. So keep in mind, we're going to watch, in particular, Lena Algatis. She's in the yellow #1 jersey. She must finish third or better to hold on to her #1 spot. Angela Jackson, she must finish in the top rankings, with Lena finishing in the bottom to clinch the world title and overtake Lena Algatis. So it has come down to the last heat of the year to determine the women's World Series champion.
Hopefully these factors don't affect them mentally. Like I said again, the mental game. If they knew this right before they started on the starting line, how is it going to affect them, Rocky?
Well, you know, they definitely know how close they are. And it's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, or the elephant in the room kind of thing, where it's there, but you don't really want to talk about it or think about it. But for these girls and for our analytical skills, we do have to bring it up, and I'm sure they've heard. I'm sure they're aware of how close it is, and you can't help but think about it. But you do have to put it in a little compartment of your brain and put it to rest and put on your best competitor hat and move forward.
And us as commentators, we have to bring it up.
Right.
It just increases the engagement, the level of competition. The crowd loves it. They know how close and how much it means to them.
So Angie does have to finish, I believe, top 2 to clinch with Lena would have to finish in the mid to bottom of the pack to relinquish or cede the world title. So it was...
well, with these factors, anything can happen, Rocky.
I know, these conditions. It's very dicey. Going around the buoys is tough. Against the wind is also very difficult. And in and out through the surf. They're doing 1 lap for this women's final. Just got word the men's consolation and men's final will be 2 laps. So that's going to add a lot more drama.
It's going to add the factor of conditioning into play.
Yes, sir.
If you condition yourself mainly for the 1 lap, which I doubt any of these competitors had done, I am pretty sure that they are all more than capable of pounding these 2 laps without a doubt. But which one is the more conditioned is the determining factor right now. Wouldn't you say, Rocky?
Absolutely. They're ready for anything. They could do 5 laps if they had to. But due to the timing of the event here, we got room for 1 lap of the women's and 2 laps for the men's. Ooh! If you had a backboard, you would have got it. Thank you. Yeah, the rebound.
So here they are coming around the corner. Very tight race, Rocky. Here's some sets coming out the back as well.
Oh, wow. Look at those waves on the horizon.
What do you do, Rocky? Do you wait? Do you keep paddling? You don't want to get stuck in the impact zone. This is very crucial right here. Look at those sets.
This is some of the biggest waves we've seen all day, and it's right in time for the women's final. It looks like Lena Algatis is up in the top 2. And look at the carnage out there. Boards flying, paddles flying. The buoy almost got taken out. That's due to the lower tide that you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The waves are breaking a little farther out and starting to cap on the buoy on the outside. So we'll be finishing, hopefully, just in time. As Lena holding on to that number 2 spot. Meanwhile, another girl holding on to her board for dear life. This looks like possibly Haley Harrison out in the lead right there. Or I believe that is Laura Clayton.
So all she has to do is,
holding on and cannot.
I hope I didn't coop that. Now the tide is definitely showing some really telltale signs of lowness.
And that is Haley Harrison, who is coming in first. And this will definitely do wonders for her final rankings. Haley Harrison.
Round of applause.
Your stand-up paddle World Series sprint race champion for the Wahine division. And coming in second, you guys give it up for Lena Algatis, your stand-up paddle World Series champion of the season, Lena Algatis. All right, here comes the rest of our competitors. Angie Jackson not in that pack. That's Keale Dories. And looks like possibly Sunny Hornscheid. And there's Laura Clayton coming in, along with Fiona Wild.
Yeah, she got a guy going. Wow, what a finish. Great job, Haley Harrison, your champion of this sprint race series today. And a bigger congratulations to our stand-up paddle World Series champion of the year, Lena Algatis. Give her a round of applause.
She's making her way up the rocks right now. And she'll be standing by with Kainoa McGee in just a few moments. As I believe we had Angie Jackson on the outside separated from her board. So we called it, you know, there's going to be carnage, there's going to be yard sales, broken leashes, broken hearts, broken any kind. And I think 2-1 right there. Angie Jackson was so close to clinching a world title and unfortunately broke a leash and is now going to finish in a second place. Not a bad spot to finish, number 2 in the world, but like you talked about earlier, the heart of these competitors is to be number 1.
Definitely, and this was, you know, very emotional. And you know, who would have thought those sets came in? They were huge. You saw girls jumping off their board, thinking, "What am I going to do? How am I going to?" They're thinking about their recovery because the sets were definitely going to knock them off of their boards. They were right in that impact zone, so they had to make a split decision, figure out what they wanted to do, and pray that their leash stays intact. Unfortunately for Angie, it wasn't the case. Congratulate her on her endeavors, on her making it through, and just glad to know that she's safe and ready to come strong for next season.
That's definitely right, and we're going to throw you down to Kainoa McGee. He is standing by with some very, very happy competitors.
All right, thanks, Rocky. Again, Kainoa McGee here with Miss Lena, who got second in that heat, but that gave her, what did that give you? Tell everybody who you are.
I guess that gave me the World Series Championship.
Exactly. So she is the world champion for the paddling racing tour this year. Congratulations. That final heat probably looked like one of the hardest heats of the day. I know there was 8 women in that heat and a ton of sets. Tell me, what was your strategy and how you end up winning?
You know, I didn't really have a strategy. I was praying mostly. But I just paddled hard where I could and, you know, held it together where I had to hold it together. We had a tough going out, tough coming in. So, you know, it could have been anyone's game, and there's 8 amazing ladies out on that start line. So really anyone could have taken that win. I mean, Haley took the win, but, you know, it could have been anyone's game.
Excellent. Well, again, congratulations. You guys put on a show today. I'm sure everybody's happy. I know we had a great time watching, and I'm sure you're more excited than anybody else. Anybody you want to thank, your sponsors, friends, family, please do so.
First, I just want to thank Ange Jackson for being just the best competitor on the planet. She's a stellar person and a stellar athlete. So I have to thank my husband, Andrew, and then SIC has been a huge sponsor for me. They make great boards and Werner paddles.
All right, congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
You're world champ right here. All right. All right,
Thank
good job.
All right, thank you, Kaino, and a very happy and excited Lena Algatis, your world champion. And so now we're getting set for the men's consolation final. Men's consolation final will be 2 laps. Let's line up, boys. Noah Janella, get lined up. Noah Janella, please line up. Riggs, please sit down. So, oh, Noah's right here. He's filming. He's going to take part in the filming action right here. So we'll get started. Let's get underway. He's got his street clothes on already. There's a good shot of Cody Kerbox getting ready. And Kavika Kinimaka, if you would like to participate. All right, here they go. 7 competitors in the consolation final. 2 laps on tap for these boys. Riggs Napoleon, Peter Dories, Paul Jackson, Eric Terrian, Cody Kerbox, Tituan Puyo, and Kavika Kinimaka. And they're heading towards that first very, very dicey section, the impact zone, where they are fortunate right now. There is a lull in the waves, so they make it out pretty smoothly for the most part. A couple teeters and totters here and there, but overall a good start for the boys, Lito, in this consolation final.
Yeah, I hope they're aware of the low tide. Look at those waves. You can even tell by the crest how it's just throwing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And with those boards, with the lack of the rocker, it's a big factor. They want to be able to ride it accordingly and not get stuck or to pearl.
Yeah, the waves getting a little bit steeper on that section and thumping a little bit more with the lower tide. And we saw in the last heat, the women's final, the buoy getting lipped right there. Almost got taken over. Somebody goes down around the buoy. Looks like Eric Terrian getting out to a pretty good lead. The Frenchman, Cody Kerbox, in your frame right there. Riggs Napoleon, as well as Tituan Puyo. All right, there's the stand-up paddle train headed towards the second buoy.
And it's amazing how these trade winds affect the North Shore. You know, on the east side of Hilo, it's pretty strong, but not like here. I think the next strongest place would be in Maui.
Right. Yeah, we do have stiff, gusty trades today. A little bit more other more northerly direction than our east-northeast trades, but nonetheless, very, very typical. And with us sticking out here way on the most northern point of Oahu, we are susceptible to a little bit of a stronger wind than down the coast, say at Sunset Beach or even down towards Haleiwa. So we do have these stiff winds to deal with. These competitors are braving these conditions quite nicely. And it will be a 2-lap final, as well as a 2-lap consolation final occurring right now. And they've made it around the last buoy.
So, Rocky, they would basically have to come in on the inside of the buoy and go back around, correct?
They're going to make a right-hand turn around this inside buoy and take that path back out to the lineup. Oh, big waves on the outside. Riggs goes down, holds his hat, make sure he don't lose him. Cody Kerbach's on the wave with Paul Jackson, and Peter Dory is out there as well. And the two Aussies on the shoulder. Cody, his Duke stance right there.
Cody's just trying to make sure he's got that that wave, and he's got to push it in order to make it to that section, in which he does. Now it's all about keeping from purling.
And Eric Terrian on the outside. A lot of athletes will use that paddle as another point of balance. And there goes Cody Kerbach. You see the contortion of his body as he makes the buoy turn.
On a dime, textbook turn right around the buoy. That was awesome.
That was front row right here. Eric Terrian gliding in to the turn. Goes a little bit wider. Here
Cody
comes.
Kerbach has a 50-yard lead, I would say, from Eric Terrian.
Here comes Paul Jackson. This is where it gets interesting with paddlers crossing in and out around the buoy. Peter Dory's making the turn. And you can see the effects of 4 heats and the toll it has taken on some of our competitors.
I tell you, Rocky, if this was me doing all these heats, I would definitely be in my hotel room taking a nap.
And here comes Riggs Napoleon, but your focus right now on the outside looks like Kavika Kinimaka. Or sorry, that is Tituan Puyo. And now we're on Riggs on the inside buoy, who cannot find his footing.
That was a freak inside set that just soon as he got up, it knocked him right back down. But nonetheless, he perseveres.
And he is currently hatless, so he was not able to retain his headgear as he was pounded by a set on the outside.
You know, Rocky, I'm one to wear my hat when I go out as well. It really helps with the shade and the sun.
Yep.
And gives you that edge, but then it's just something else you got to think about when you're catching the wave, unfortunately.
Right. Paul Jackson, Peter Dories, Eric Terrian in your frame. And there's the cross angle. Cody Kerbach's in the mix as well. And Kavika Kinimaka staying low to his board as he approaches the inside buoy for the right-hand turnaround. Really stabbing that paddle into the water. Using it as a rudder as we see our paddlers, the top 4, heading out to that first buoy. They'll make a right-hand turn. Eric Terrian was able to grab the lead. First one to turn and head upwind, followed by Paul Jackson, Cody Kerbach, and Peter Dories. There is 3 of our paddlers, second, third, and fourth in this consolation final. Stroke for stroke, equidistant in their separation. Kind of lined up like Orion's belt right now.
Now let's see what Mother Nature has in store as they make the turn. Is it over there or was it over here?
Today, I'm here till like later tonight. We have our awards thing on the other side. Yeah. I might even try and jump in the water. Okay. Yeah. You got a room yet? Yeah. What is it? Yeah. 367. Okay. I'm here all week too. Okay. And they made the turn around the last buoy. This is the last lap, so this will determine the winner of the consolation final, who will receive equal 9th place for this event. And it looks like it's still really tight between those top 4. Yeah. From this angle, yeah, hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, Mother Nature might have some waves, or then again, might hold back.
We'll see who plays the waiting game, as that's been some of the strategy. Eric Therrien a little bit closer to the meat of the peak where it's breaking more. So if a wave comes, he could be in the optimal position for catching a wave.
And because this rock, this particular board, the rocker is so minimal that you can't go too far in front of your board, or once you make the drop, you'll just pearl.
And it's Cody Kerbox who pulls a hat trick and gets a peak out of nowhere. Just a phantom peak pops up right behind Cody, and the luck of the draw right there, as these waves at Turtle Bay, like I said, very random, very hard to predict, and hard to judge. And Cody just happened to be right in the right spot. But Eric Therrien holds true to that inside section and keeps his line on the inside and trusts that closer to the ledge peak that has been very consistent, but he goes down.
Oh, and Cody takes the lead.
Wow.
That was awesome. He was right on the ledge. He could have literally missed that wave, but he kept going.
And fortunately for Cody, Eric takes a spill. So Cody will be finishing in first place, the consolation final. Paul Jackson picks a better line coming in. Peter Dory's on the outside as Paul finishes number 2. Catapults off his board again. Peter Dory's coming in. An empty wave right there that you're watching. And there's Peter Dory's coming in 4th place. A tight race for the top 4 positions in this consolation final. Riggs was able to find his hat.
That's amazing. True Waterman. He didn't want to come back and get razzed by his dad.
So it was Eric Therrien finishing 2nd in that consolation final, and Paul Jackson finishing in 3rd. One more race to go. One more heat to go. One more heat to go, and it will be the final race of the year for the 2014 Stand-Up Paddle World Series, brought to you by the Waterman League and all of our great sponsors, namely Turtle Bay Resort, Oakley, Nash, Deuce Brand, Pacifico, as well as our great people at Mountain Dew Kickstart. As we see Kavika Kinimaka reaching the finish line. Here we go. We've got the finals. We've got the finals on tap to start. And it is our top 8 competitors. Kai Lenny, Jake Jensen, Mo Freitas, Arthur Daniels, Zane Schweitzer, Connor Baxter, Casper Steinfath, and Dylan Frick. Finalists, stand by. Finalists, stand by.
And they're off.
Here we go. And what you're seeing on screen is Kai Lenny getting out to a lead. Connor Baxter right there. Casper Steinfath, Zane Schweitzer. Great shot of all 8 competitors. And as we're looking from the side angle, the first wave hits. Connor goes down. The remaining 7 still on their feet. Kai Lenny out in front with, I believe, Jake Jensen also in that mix. So it is Jake, Kai, and Zane, number 1, 2, and 3, as they head to the safe area of the shoulder of the surf break here at Turtle Bay. And they've made it past the first series of waves. And there's all 8 in frame.
You know what I'm thinking about, Rocky? There's one of the sets coming. Will the sets come when they make it around the corner?
Or will they come when they're already halfway back in, making it more interesting?
I love that.
But they have 2 laps. It'll be 2 laps for the final. And they're heading upwind now. Jake Jensen, a slight advantage on Kai Lenny. Zane Schweitzer in a close third.
Remembering, like the consolation bracket, this is a 2-lap race, correct?
Yes. And it looks like Mo Freitas able to pull up into 4th place. Mo was your 3rd place finisher in the long distance yesterday. So, just tells you a little something about the conditioning of these young athletes. Being able to do a 10-plus mile race in crazy conditions yesterday. Come back today and do these gnarly sprint races in even more extreme conditions in and out through the waves back to back today. So extreme conditioning. You know these guys are going to be resting up for the week.
Yeah, Rocky, that's unbelievable. Limited recovery time definitely defines the level of athleticism that they have. It ranks them up there with the concurrent events happening on the Big Island, such as the Ironman.
It's definitely true. Had the Ironman going on yesterday. And these are the Ironmen and women of stand-up paddleboarding for sure. The best in the world competing right here on the North Shore in front of your very eyes at Turtle Bay Resort. Some of the best
Riggs,
paddlers and athletes.
Congratulations, Riggs. You got your hat.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was pretty, I noticed it was gone, and then it was back on. I was like, oh, you found him. Yeah.
All right, we got some sets coming in. Everyone's vying, trying to get that swell. It's not a really big swell. Hopefully the They've got to just try to go for anything that's out there, right, Rocky?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Whatever pops up behind you or on the side of you, you're going to stroke for and attempt to grab, because any little push you can get not only gives you a little bit more momentum, but it allows you to rest a little bit.
Yes, definitely.
Any little second you can rest your muscles and get ready for the next pounding is the strategy out here. And that looks like, I believe, Jake Jensen, who is really working hard to stay with that wave. Zane Schweitzer goes deep. Kai Lenny right by him, and Zane on a huge drop somehow holds the nose out of the water and squeezing every bit of energy out of that wave.
That was awesome.
And
look at 5 men on one wave.
Wow. You guys, give it up for these top athletes in the world. They can hear you from the beach, cheering for them in the water. And now it becomes the ever-interesting buoy turn on the inside. Guys crashing into the buoy, going down. It's a 5-car pileup around the Nash buoy on the inside, NASCAR style. Connor Baxter battling with Dylan Frick.
I definitely want to see that footage from Larry Haynes.
Oh, yeah.
Turn. That underwater footage must be awesome.
Putting himself right in the mix, Larry Haynes. You see Connor Baxter and Dylan Frick now to Kai Lenny and Zane Schweitzer's nose just in frame. And Casper Steinfath started off slow but able to work his way back into the top positions. Jake Jensen was one of those who went down around the buoy, currently in 5th place. So excitement in lap number 1. Casper just goes down uncharacteristically on just probably a fatigue factor.
Possibly. I did. Sets are coming and just putting everybody.
That low tide that you spoke of, Lito, earlier, definitely having that section more steep, more thumpy, and more waves breaking.
I think there's a little side wave action which kind of caused him to fall off his board as well. All these factors, the low tide is bringing in more definite wave factors from every angle.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of reverb from the cliff here.
Hey, I like that terminology.
As it bounces off and heads back across the bay. Some cross-section waves from the other side of the bay, because there's a shallow section on the other side that brings waves sidewards towards us. So pretty much all angles of waves having to be negotiated by these top world-class athletes, and they're making it look fairly easy when you think about it.
Yeah, that's the one thing about athletes and professionals, is their ability to make stuff that is so difficult look so easy.
That's absolutely right.
So effortless would be the key word, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. They look like they're out for a Sunday paddle, which they are, literally.
Literally.
But it's a competition for the World Series Championship. Actually, that's already sewn up by Connor Baxter. But it is status, prestige, competition, and pride all at stake. And the number 2 spot is still up for grabs, currently held by Kai Lenny. And you know, Zane Schweitzer, Jake Jensen, all those guys are right there in contention, and they would love to be number 2 on the podium.
They're all hungry. They are all hungry.
I mean, in paddleboarding, it's all about catching the guy in front of you. If you can't be number 1, at least beat the guy in front of you. They're heading back across the bay into the wind. And they're making their way. A lot of waves still coming through on the horizon.
So, Rocky, I believe tentatively, after this event, we're going to have the Luau Banquet held on the other side, correct?
Yep, the final awards banquet that is held every year at Kuilima Point. On the opposite side of the hotel here. As we see a big wave on the outside overhead for these guys, Zane Schweitzer and Kai Lenny And this is the final lap, so who's going to hold on and finish this race still standing on their board? Kai Lenny getting low. Zane Schweitzer, that very low center of gravity. Very solid stance. And here we go. The final strokes. Kai would love to be back-to-back long distance and sprint race champion. Zane Schweitzer pounding away. And who crosses first? It looked like Zane Schweitzer by a few inches. We'll have to get confirmation, but that was as close as it get, folks. That was a nail biter. From our angle, it looked like Zane Schweitzer, and I believe that is confirmed. Zane Schweitzer, your short course sprint race series champion here at Turtle Bay. Kai Lenny in second, and on the podium once again is Mo Freitas in third. You guys give it up for Zane, for Kai, and for Mo. Top three, the men's sprint short course racing podium winners. And Zane finishing the year strong. You know, he said it in the interview with Kainoa McGee, Lito, that he was going to let it all hang out, foot injury and all. He came all this way, did all the events, was not going to pull out, and comes up with the victory.
That's awesome. That is awesome, especially with dealing with an injury and just overcoming it and not letting it get to his head. That reveals a true champion.
Well, and you talked about the mental strength, and Zane is one of the guys on tour with really strong mental strategy, and keeps it going all through the event. Jake Jensen finished in fourth. We have Casper Steinfath coming in, and the rest of our boys on the outside just waiting for some waves to catch. But here comes Casper, that great surfing nation from Denmark. You guys give it up for Casper Steinfath, one of the class acts on the Stand-Up Paddle World Series and World Tour events. Comes all the way from Denmark to be one of the top competitors in the world in the stand-up paddle surfing and racing divisions. Connor Baxter, he'll have a hero's welcome when he returns. He is our World Series champion. So when he gets close and within earshot, we'll try to give him the appropriate ovation. Doing a floater on the inside with a race board. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your stand-up paddle World Series champion, number one, Connor Baxter. Clinched that World Series title in Huntington Beach last month, and just continuing today to put on a show and compete with his buddies. Casper, your World Series champion, finishing across the line right now. So what a race. 2 laps here for the final. Lito, we saw a lot of determination, a lot of carnage, a lot of glory, heroism. Everything here was the total package as we expected at the Stand-Up World Series final at Turtle Bay.
How enduring was this? Was this the setting alone is challenging, along with the level of competition, just takes it that much higher to another level. I applaud each and every one of them for making it this far and making it through this season, because to me they're all champions. So a round of applause for all our competitors.
Absolutely. These guys and girls are the best athletes in the world in our opinion, because you know, you can play baseball, football, basketball, all that kind of stuff, but you don't need to hold your breath when you fall down.
Yeah. You gotta be fluid, bro.
So these guys, you know, every part of the body is engaged, and including the knowledge of the ocean, which today was a huge factor in determining the champion and how the results came through. So not only athletic ability, mental strength, and sheer knowledge of the ocean, and of course, a little bit of luck.
Oh, yes. It's always got to have some of that.
Hey,
It's
Bella,
always
can you
good
pass
to
me
have
the
some of
water?
that.
And we're going to take you down with Kainoa McGee. He's standing by for the third time, winning another heat, and the most important heat, Brother Zane Schweitzer.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, boys. Rocky here with the heat winner right here, heat and finals winner, Zane Schweitzer. We've been talking to him all day. It's the only guy who took a nap, and as you can tell, it paid off. Not only did he take a nap, but he won it on a bum ankle. This is what he said he was waiting for all day, bro. Tell us how you're feeling. That was a freaking insane race.
And then what about
Oh, man, you know, I wasn't expecting anything less, you know, bumping boards and rough racing and, you know, some unreal sets. Definitely the biggest set I rode all day was with Kai and the first lap on our way into the finish. And then, oh, bro, we had a pile up around that first buoy. And, bro, I wanted it. I wasn't going to take it easy on that one, so I waited for the right moment to burst ahead and cut my buoy turn quick. And that paid off because it gave me a nice gap out to the next buoy. And then Kai, it was pretty much a race between Kai and I. And I looked over at him on the wave, and I knew he wasn't going to. He's not the kind of guy to let up.
Easy.
No,
nothing.
nothing.
Easy.
Even though it wouldn't have meant anything for him to let me go, I knew he wasn't going to let me. I look at him, and I was like, "You're not going to let me win, are you?" And then I waited for the right time, and I bursted, and I just seen my nose just inching just ahead, and I was like, "Oh, I hope that was it." And then I heard my name, and I'm just so grateful and blessed. Want to thank my brother Maddie and Alina Schweitzer, his wife, and my sponsors, Starboard, Maui Gym, Batargo, Kobe in Honolulu, everybody to make this possible. Most importantly, my grandparents and my parents for supporting me, and everyone to make this possible. Tristan, the Waterman League, Turtle Bay, mahalo nui loa, mahalo ke kua. All right, you guys, catch you next year. All right. Yee.
All right, once again, congratulations to our winner, Zane Schweitzer.
All right. All right, big congrats to Zane Schweitzer. And always love having Kainoa McGee down there doing our
that was super crucial, but you
guest commentary. So, Lito, here at Turtle Bay, great event, awesome conditions. The athletes put on a great show. What did you think overall?
Wow, you know, overall, all of the competitors revealed their level of athleticism, but more foremost, and what I kept mentioning throughout the day, is their level of mental strength. That mental stability is such a major factor in maintaining that edge. And each and every one of these competitors have that. When it came down to the line, it's who was ahead by the microsecond. Who was that much farther ahead? This much farther determines a champion. And to me, they're all champions. And bless them all. It was a very awesome, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to commentate as well as to witness these athletes and these champions making it and completing another season.
Well, it has been a great 2014 season on the Stand-Up Paddle World Series and the World Tour. The World Series is over as far as we know at Turtle Bay here. This is the last event. Congratulations to our men's champion, Connor Baxter, our women's champion, Lena Algatis. Thank you to all of our sponsors, the Waterman League, Turtle Bay Resort, Nakamakai, Oakley, Nash, Deuce Brand, and also Mountain Dew Kickstart, and all of the great supporters that we have all year long here on the Stand-Up Paddle World Series. And please join us next year for another great 2015 season. On behalf of Lito Archangel, guest commentary from Kainoa McGee, and all the Waterman League staff, I'm Rocky Cannon. Aloha and mahalo.
Aloha.